Yo, what up, man? What's going on with y'all? Man, man, these weirdo dudes, bro. Oh shit. Oh, so I'm waiting for Xanatos to get in. Hopefully, let me see what he get. Let's see what he hit me. Oh, let's see. Did he hit me? There you go. Or maybe he didn't. I don't know. Shit, he hit me. Oh shit. All right. So I sent him the link. Hopefully he'll hop in here. So, oh man. Hey, just don't be weirdos, y'all. Don't be weirdos, man. Don't be a weirdo. Hey, most definitely. Hey, Young Swift, man, put your link in the thing, man. Hey, shout out to the building. My man, Young Swift, made his first video, man. Make sure we support that brother. Sub to his channel. Get him up there, man. Let's get him in here. Let's give him that good old boost. Make sure you guys go watch his video, like it, all those great things. All right, this is why we do this for the young brothers coming after us, man. It's a young dude with a good head on his shoulder, learning early, and thank God he's not go turn. I bet. Shout out to Xanatos. Yeah, Xanatos is gonna be here in a little second, man. So hey, we got something big for y'all tonight. One of the light skinned delegation founders. All right, in the building. Shout out to everybody here, man. We got. Let me find my man's channel real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. But this stems from the same stream that Ike was on. The interview with Ike and the interview that I'm about to do with Xanatos both happened over on GC's panel. Shout out to Game Changer. And hey man, make sure y'all watch the video and subscribe to the brother too, man. We go definitely get him up in here, get him some subs and stuff tonight, and give his brother support, man. He's starting off on the right foot. But he brought up an interesting concept, man, that I think American black people need to be aware of. Far too often in this space, not just in this space, this is like real life stuff. When we have the um conversations about who is black, what is black, who's not black, blackness, and this, that, and the other, and all these different things. It's mighty funny, you know, that it's at the convenience of what we're getting or what we want for somebody. Especially, in particular black women. If it's a light-skinned black woman or someone like the Kamala Harris aspect of things, oh no, she thinks she too big, too good, she hot diddy, she thinks she cute, all these other things. She's not even black, she's really Indian and all these other things, right? If it's on a relationship aspect and them affecting a black woman in the dating market, dating and mating, they don't claim them at all. They try to discount them, what I'm saying, all these different things. But when they do something big, political sphere, scientific, or anything of notoriety, then, oh, they're one of us. They're one of us. Oh, black girl magic. Black is beautiful. Melanin, all these great things, right? Ain't no difference in us but a boat stop. And it's mighty funny how, again, because we're raised by our black mothers, the black community has brought on this whole thing as to where you like, you challenging people's blackness, what's black, what's not black, all these different things. Well, the thing about it, the sad thing about it is the non-ADOS blacks, your immigrants and your people from the Caribbean and all these different things, or your mixed people are becoming the best of us. And that is my opinion. That's statistically proven. Nigerians are, I think, like the second or third highest earners in the country. Okay. Second or third highest earners in the country. And they don't take for granted, shout out to Ike, the opportunities that we have here and we're born into. When they get here, they hit the ground running. And not only are they successful, they're hyper successful, and they have no issue and problem looking out for each other, and are told and have a code of where if and when they can box out a black person or take the spot of a American black person, well, hey, they're not one of us. It is what it is. The thing is, and a problem with it is understanding that black people aren't on pace with the non-ADOS or the mixed people. And what Xanatos said was, well, look, man, hey, black people at this point are at what 20-year clock, like a 20-year time frame now. 20 and 30 years, because but it's 30 years, because 2053 black people are said to be a permanent underclass by research done. More likely than not, I think they said now it's projected to be somewhere around the 2030 range or whatnot. But if the only thing you get out of being acknowledged and accepted by ADOS black people is a black card, you cool, you can come to the cookout, especially when niggas get in the way to everybody. White folks can get an invite to the cookout. Asian people can get an invite to the cookout. Arab people can get an invite to the cookout. Everybody can get an invite to the cookout as well as as long as you're can imitate blackness. But there's no success behind it. There's not even a trade for success or something that people have to bargain in order to get the card. It's just something we give out for free. You're one of the cool kids. You're one of us. Come on in. Right? But again, you have non-ADOS and the mixed people that are saying, well, hey, man, you're not going to accept me unless it's to your advantage anyway. And all I get is, or you're one of us. You know what I'm saying? What the hell do I want that for? You know what I mean? Why would I want that? Why would I want that? I have a mindset and I'm taught from my childhood that success is measurable. You write down the goals and the milestones, and you track your progress. Unlike with black people, again, that are entitled and welfare minded, the man of the hour is in the building.
Yo, what's good? Go ahead. What you saying, man? You're on a good roll.
Yeah. You're entitled and welfare minded, and you're told to wait on somebody else to give you something. So as Clutch always does so wonderfully, man, he put it together and he put this concept out there, and I knew it would be a great combo to have because I think he's actually onto something. And unfortunately, as usual, black people don't see shit till it's too late. And the thing about it is, if you wanted to get a power base, and you understand that black people, ADOS black people, have no interest in power, well, what would you do? You're going to get with the like-minded people that are about success, power, and understand and box those out that don't want to be a part. That all they bring to it is you're one of us. So without further ado, we got Clutch in the building, man. I'll let him take it over, and we'll go from there.
Appreciate hey, what's good? Hey, what's good, bro?
Not a problem, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for having me on your show once again. And I know I'm one of these late night dudes, so thanks for squeezing me in here.
Hey, no problem, bro.
Yeah, but nonetheless, about the subject at hand. So as Fantastic was saying, on the part of the advantages of being black in this country, there are certain individuals who, I'm just going to say it like this. They do get some advantages, but not enough to go in with the cause of being black, as in Black American. Alongside that, you do have immigrants coming in here with their own culture, their own mindset, and yeah, they have their own backgrounds. A lot of them have their own patriarchies. A lot of them have something that, even though they came from nothing, trust me, they're nothing that they came from in a cultural way, in a gender way, is more than what we have here in America. And a lot of them, by coming to this country, they think that, oh, America is just the land of milk and honey, and that they're just going to get anything that we want without sacrificing nothing, not knowing the history of this country, nor what it takes to be embraced as American in this country, meaning the social aspects of what it takes to be seen as American. And let's just be quite frank, half of what it takes to be considered American is hating blacks. I'm just saying. But as far as other stuff about the current state of Black America, quite frankly, a lot of immigrant blacks, they see what we have in this country. They see what we've done. Well, actually, a lot of them don't see what we've done because we haven't done a lot as of late. And because of a combination of what they see in this country and how much we haven't taken advantage of it, and also the riffraff culture that Black America does praise, a lot of people, a lot of immigrants especially, and even to an extent, multiracial people, they are not seeing the advantages of being black, at least not outweighing the detriments. So as a result, I came up with this theory, and this is actually from a doctor. I don't know the doctor's name, but he came up with like the 7 Black Americas, which he came up with all these other classes and all these other groups, and I just simplified it down to 3. 3 meaning the 3 fates of Black America. If you don't mind, I'll put that link in the chat so that people can listen to that video after we're done with this live stream. But the 3 fates of Black America is basically how I picture Black America to be in the future, which is this. You have an immigrant black class, which will consist of the blacks who came here within the past 1 to 2 generations, your Africans, your Caribbeans, your Black Latinos, and possibly your blacks who came from the UK or other countries. A lot of them, yeah, a lot of people say, oh, they had their differences, they're tribal, blah, 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 blah. Well, how tribal are the Indians when they get here? How tribal are the Latinos when they get here? How tribal are the Asians when they get here? Exactly. Next, you have the second group of individuals, what I like to call the multiracial class. And a lot of these are obviously going to be your multiracial Americans, your biracial Americans, or hell, in some cases, individuals who may be able to fit enough to be considered biracial Americans. And third, you're going to have your ADOS, everyday American Negro class, in which, unlike from the other 2, I actually picture a bleak outcome for them, mainly because of the trajectory, because of the lack of improvement and the lack of will to change, the lack of a regime change, and just the lack of a will in order to change the mindset. Today's date, when it comes to the community, as I like to call it, a lot of people are not willing to really do what it takes in order to straighten up and fly right. The people in the community, I love it. And I'm not just talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays or Scraggle Daggles or Baby's Kids or anything like that. I'm talking about working everyday ADOS blacks. And they love to dibble and dabble in hood, Negro, underclass culture. And a lot of people think, oh, that's cute. That's we're just playing, man. No. The time playing is not here. The time playing is over. If 2020 has proven anything, that the time for play has been done. And a lot of people, except for ADOS people, get that message, which is the reason why I paint ADOS blacks as being in that underclass culture, while other blacks, such as Caribbean blacks or just immigrant blacks in general, and biracial blacks, one of these days, they're going to see what time it is, and they're going to see how things are going, and a lot of them are going to want to have anything to do with the ADOS Black American culture. Either they're going to make their own culture, or they're going to take the ADOS Black culture and gentrify it, meaning get rid of the riffraff but keep the soul.
Okay, so that's a great point. So when you say this and you have this distinction between, I don't know if people understood or they realized. Remember when President Biden had the conference before he was elected with the quote unquote the black leaders, and he told them, "Hey, look, within 30 years, the white people are not going to any longer be the majority in this country. So you black people are going to have to learn how to work with the Hispanics and all these other things." Pretty much, like you said, I don't think people are understanding just how much America's changing as a culture, where you do have a lot of people intermingling. You do have a lot of black men, more so than anything, because black men are 3 times more likely to marry out or date out than black women, right? Um, um, Having kids with women of other cultures, which is going to result in, as we know, these mixed people. So, like you said, man, if you know that you're going to be able to be highly successful, if you distance yourself away from, as you say, the negativities, which you said something that I've been saying for years, man. Black people, we're playing too much. It's too much dancing going on. There's too many challenges. It's too much fun being had for people that's still crying about white supremacy and racism to this day, right? So if that's really like what you said it will be a lot more black people on their purpose. It'd be a lot more focuses on education. It'd be a lot more interest in STEM and promoting, our kids to buy into the education intellect route versus the sports and entertainment route, right? It'll be a lot more of women making sure that they choose the best possible father that's going to stay around and be in their child's life and be a part of the upbringing and a positive, healthy family household for that child. But like you said, man, it's just like we're all about, shout out to Ramil, that instant gratification. And somehow, instead of us learning from these other groups, whatnot, what have you, we just, like you said, think everything's a game. So, what's your take on what are we gonna get it? Are regular black ADOS black people gonna get it in the opinion of Xantos?
Well, before I answer that question, you hit a lot on what's going to happen in the future, particularly when it comes to white America and their position. Now, granted, as long as there is a United States of America in its current form, white individuals will always be on top. They will make sure of that. So that population thing doesn't concern me as much, or I mean, that's more of a non sequitur. Yes, there will probably be more Hispanics as a plurality in this country, but one or two things are going to happen. Either they're just going to be the majority, and that's just going to be that, or they're going to be blended into white America, just like Italians and Irish were in the middle of the 20th century, and thus the cycle continues. But as far as those individuals, nonetheless, we are going to have to learn the work into, well, not necessary plea, hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be beyond that stage by then, but we will have to learn to work with other non-Anglo whites or non-Anglo individuals. And the thing is that a lot of them, let's just be honest, a lot of them don't buy into the white guilt as much as, say, the Anglo-Saxon white America has to buy into it or pretends to buy into it. So you're going to have the sympathy of the black plight is going to be significantly dwindled, if not thrown out the window completely within the next, I'd say, 30 years. Give it about a generation, and trust me, you're going to really start to see some people be harsh at the very least. Also, when it comes to the individuals who are blending, the best black Americans, you got to remember, one, there's an agenda out here to make individuals who are of mixed race seem as black. Remember the one drop rule. And the one drop rule was mainly designed in order to dissuade non-blacks from dealing with blacks, particularly black men. The way they're doing the one drop through this century is basically trying to make mixed individuals look black and embrace into hood-ass black culture. So you got to be real careful when it comes to that. And trust me, it's no big deal of other races giving us their quote unquote leftovers, their or people that they wouldn't mess with, the women they wouldn't mess with. See, that's all part of their plan in order to make mixed individuals, lump them into that ADOS underclass or permanent underclass. So you got to be careful for that, which is the reason why I stress that for interracial couples, you have to have the best of the best marry out, which is, for the most part, is the case. So there is that. But as far as Black Americans getting it, at this point, looking at how I see things, maybe it's just on social media alone, but I do not see a lot of hope. I do not see a lot of change for this Negro, just like David Carroll says.
Shout out to Devil's Bang for the 5. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. So unfortunately, man, I have to agree with you. I don't unless there's something that's extremely tragic and literally just like not only from a black culture aspect, but just American culture shock that happens, some very, very traumatic event. I don't see the shift that's necessary, the 180 that has to happen for an entire race of people within, like you said, that would be what I think a generation and a half is a 30-year period, right? To happen and change it over for where we're on par with the immigrants and non-ADOS people that come here. So with that being said, why would explain to the people why it makes sense for pretty much non-ADOS black people to take over the moniker of black?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, you see a lot of people, a lot of non-ADOS people doing that right now. You see a lot of non-ADOS people getting into stuff that ADOS black people were famously known to get into, like sports, like entertainment, hell, like rapping, for instance. And even in their case, you see them for the most part being able to separate what they do in the studio or what they do on stage or on TV from what they are in reality. Now you have some exceptions, such as Cardi B, who takes it to a whole nother level. I don't know what her issue is, but everyone else, it seems like they know when it's time to play that role, even if it's a negative, stereotypical ADOS role, and when it's time to act like a normal human being. So there is the threat right there. As far as the benefits of them taking over our image, if they were to take over as the standard Black American, it might not be the worst thing on the surface. Damn, I never thought of it like that. But I don't see them taking over the image of Black America in the sense of we're all going to get freaking, we're all going to adopt more Bollywood versus Hollywood culture. I don't see that happening. The ADOS Black American culture is here to stay, and a lot of it is, and granted, it is negative. It is negative, but it is here to stay. And the reason why I say that is this. It is designed to stay intentionally. As a matter of fact, a lot of non-Blacks have it within the best interest for ADOS culture to stay around, particularly negative ADOS culture to stay around, because that culture single-handedly is what's preventing a lot of Blacks from getting outside the race with little resistance from the other culture. See, compared to, say, Blacks in Britain or Blacks in Canada, you have those Blacks marrying out at a rate of 50%. And I mean, hell, if you want another example of this, try finding an ADOS Black person who went to Canada. We hear stories about those all the time, or we heard stories about those all the time back in the 18th and 17th century. You can't really find them these days because guess why? They got bred out. So the thing is that the United States society, for one reason or another, I'm not going to go into the details unless we want to, but they have it in their best interest to have this ADOS struggle culture ping towards us, because for some reason they do not want to see the average, I'm talking about the well-to-do Black American, to integrate into the mainstream society, because one, you wouldn't have us to be the scapegoat class. Two, dating would be more meritocratic, which would leave a lot of other boys who don't look like us, shit out of luck. There are a lot of things. And also you have the industries that thrive because of the ADOS struggle underclass, like the prison industrial complex, the police, that sort of thing, the police state. I mean, the list goes on. So there's an interest in keeping that hood culture, the ADOS culture, alive and well. Not the ADOS culture that got us through the civil rights and the original Black Panthers, all that type of stuff. Now, not that kind of culture. No, we can't have that. We got to have either the hood street culture or that hog mog plantation culture. But we can't have anything of dignity. We had 2 years of dignity, and from what I read, a couple of influential dudes got shot because of it.
All right. So they don't want to take over the moniker of being Black because they need Black people to still take the bullets and keep the figuratively, I guess, and literally, to keep the focus off of them, and to say pretty much like, hey, we're not with them. We're different from them. We're better than them. We're not with them niggas. Shout out to GC, right? so pretty much Black people are going to be left here with the moniker of being Black. And so what is the mixed and non-ADOS Black coalition going to be called? What is going to be the moniker they make for themselves to still be Black, but make the separation from the ADOS everyday Black person?
Well, the immigrants already have their coalition. I mean, they already have the foundation for their coalition. I mean, they can just say, well, my great-great-grandfather is from this country, and we weren't ever slaves, and we didn't get our asses kicked during Jim Crow. So, I mean, that's what they're going to say. Okay. And as far as the mixed individuals, DNA testing is advanced to the point in which a lot of mixed Americans, and when they make their culture, which trust me, I'll tell you how it's going to happen. But when they make their culture, they're definitely going to vouch ethnically as well as culturally to separate themselves from the ADOS underclass. Because I'm just going to say this. You were making a good point about how a lot of daggles will try to play both sides of the fence when it comes to Kamala Harris. 1 minute she's a sister, but when she becomes all sadiddy, which will happen, President Kamala Harris is going to show her sadiddy mode.
Exactly, it's going to happen.
So when that happens, she's Indian anyway. Oh, they hate us anyway. They got a caste system anyway. They won't criticize about her being her Mr. Clean husband. They will never criticize her about that, regardless of how much she throws them under the bus. But as far as that's concerned, when it comes to mixed Americans or biracial Americans, the reason why it really hasn't happened yet is because, let's be real, and I may trigger some people in the audience, but let's be real. Biracial and light-skinned, for that matter, light-skinned women benefit too much from the ADOS underclass culture, at least right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was right.
Uh-oh.
Because
so elaborate that on a little bit. So how do the light-skinned women and biracial benefit? What's the major benefit for them? What's the biggest benefit for them?
They're the preferred BWs. Oh.
So hold on. Is that a close cut? Is that a close cut? Mr. Fantastic didn't say this. I did not say this. So Xander Toes Clutch is saying that mixed and lighter skinned women are the more preferred women of the Black racial aspect. That is just saying.
I mean, look at the IG model. Well, not even IG model, but just look at the chicks that a lot of basketball players get with. Come on, I mean, yeah, 80% of them, they marry black women. Blah blah blah. But let's say what's black? Well, in this case, what is black really? Is it like predominantly black? Is it a shade of black? Is it like how many times you go to the Chick Shack joint every Sunday night? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and Class, that's a great point, man. Again, like I said, especially even for motherfuckers as dark as me, right? Because I don't participate in the negativities, and I don't have a criminal record. I'm not here, throwing my life away. I'm productive, and have intelligence and all these different things. It's at point where like I hear all the time here, oh nigga, you ain't black, you want to be white. You got a white supremacist mind. You working with the white man. They done indoctrinated you. You kill your people. And I'm like, nigga, what? Shut up. What are you talking about? I'm from motherfucking Macon, Georgia, motherfucker. Like a predominantly fucking black city. Like even before I was born. What are you talking about, bro? I grew up in the blackest of black experiences. I ain't on no Barack Obama shit. And like you said, it's a funny part when you talk about that, right? Because Barack Obama during his 2 terms, count them 2. He was a black president and black this and black that, and blackity black because y'all black y'all and all this shit. Even though the man's not black at all, his mom is white and his father's African, so he's a fucking mixed African dude, right? He's not ADOS black whatsoever, and he didn't even have a black experience because he didn't grow up around black people. He grew up around a whole bunch of white folks in fucking Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? And just like
one of the least racist state in the country, by the way.
Yeah, and it just like because ain't enough niggas. And just like MLK, he didn't even have a liking for the black women. He was chasing them white girls. You know what I'm saying? Until he decided to have a political career. So a big thing too that I think this is the first census as to where it wasn't just black. Black actually had black mixed, black and white, or black on the census. They gave choices of different kinds of black people. So, what do you think we're going to learn from that? Because now that the government is giving them an identity, are people going to pick the identity, or are they going to stay just I'm black?
Ooh, I think we're going to see an initial flow of a lot of capers, a lot of posers, a lot of individuals who are going to try to claim themselves to be mixed.
Oh shit, Xanatos. So hold on, Xanatos. You mean to tell me we gonna go back to the 90s? Xanatos, you in 30s, right? Mid to late 30s?
Yeah. 30, 33, 34.
All right, so you remember this. You remember when the little girls was growing up? I got Indian in my family. She had So what you telling me is we finna return to after this census, it's gonna be a lot more black people out here on their dang Callaway. Shout out to Top Cats on their Top Cats. Legendary Top Cats. So I got Indian in me. I'm mixed. That what you telling us, Xanatos, on this census we about to see, brother?
Oh, on the census report, yeah, you're going to see a lot of capping. You're going to see a lot of
man.
But it's going to be a catch. This time, unlike last time where you had a lot of people who were just playing around and just trying to say that in order to score or whatever. This time, you're going to have the actual biracial people taking a second look at a lot of these people who are capping, and they're going to put them to the test.
Oh, shit. They're going to have to show them papers, Xanatos. They're going to have to show the papers, man.
Look, light skin supremacy will not be diluted this time.
So, all right, man. So, and when you would say this, so you said this on GCs too. So you was like, listen, guys, pretty much this is something that black people need to take seriously, because being that you're not progressing the way we should be, and like I said, we're one of the original big 3 here. You really don't have an excuse, man. And this is why I definitely listen to your content. I like the reality you say this with, man. Listen, black folks, there is no excuse for us to still be where we're at, being that we know the whole playbook. There's no new racism. There is none. It's the same old racism from the 1950s, 40s, 60s, and it's actually a lot less than what it was. Because again, back then, motherfucker, they can pull up to your house, put a cross in front of your house and set it on fire. They can come up in your house, kick your door in, pull your son out, and shoot him down in the front yard, and nothing happens to him. They can take the same thing. You walking on the sidewalk again, man. You got to step off the sidewalk while you with your family. You can't look at that white man in his eye. You can spit in your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. They come into a church and pull somebody out and hang them, and white folks stand around and roast marshmallows on black people that were literally burned alive. Again, man, that's real racism. So when I hear people complain about, microaggressions and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and I'm like, bruh, you're literally like 3 generations of where there were people killed in cold blood in broad daylight and nothing was done about it. How dare you act like you know anything about true racism? But we keep falling back on that excuse as a reason as to why we should be giving, give it, give me all these different things. And why don't you guys you don't love us, you don't do all these things? Being that the biracial doesn't have that connection to lean on or even want to, right? Because again, they have 2 cultures, right? And then you have, of course, the immigrant, like you said, they didn't have to worry about none of that shit. How should and why should the ADOS black person expect their sympathy? Why should they expect them to sympathize with what they went through?
Well, why should the ADOS black person? But I think a lot of it's because I think at this point, it's more of a misery loves company kind of thing. Like the ADOS struggle, underclass culture needs as many people to validate its current state as possible. Which is that's why you go to a lot of these people go to a lot of these liberals trying to shame them, to trying to march for them whenever something happens. Now, this past year, there were incidents that I would say was legitimate when it comes to marching, like George Floyd, for instance. But look, 9 times out of 10, a lot of these marches, it's disingenuous on both sides. You got black people wanting white people just to give them a hug and say, you're included in this country, just like we include the Asian and the Latino and the Indian genuinely. That thing about having wanted house guests versus unwanted relatives. Also, alongside that, when it comes to the immigrant class, let me tell you this. The immigrants, how many immigrants were really marching out there this past summer, huh?
Very few, if any.
Very few. And hell, biracial people, yeah, you probably saw some biracial people marching out there as well. I'll give you that. But check this out. The reason why is because a lot of biracial people have been bought into and duped into the notion that they black too. Which, yeah, it may work for all the biracial women who are getting all the attention and all the drinks and all the purses that they can handle. Okay, cool. But guess who it isn't benefiting? The biracial man. Probably the most unheard man in the community, if we want to play the one drop rule. A lot of people will unapologetically say, I heard Sergeant Willie Pete said this, and he said this out of spite for biracial men because that's just who he is. But I want to thank him for his honesty when he said, Black America is dark-skinned black women, dark-skinned black men, and light-skinned black women. Light-skinned black men have little to no place in it, and that's just what it is, and blah, 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 blah. You know what? A lot of biracial, hell, even light-skinned black men they aren't marching. When it comes to this stuff, they aren't marching. They aren't complaining. They aren't bitching. They're just standing by. They're just looking by. And they're just strategizing on what they can do to better their condition. Now, some of them have taken that, have gotten smart, and those who actually can really fit into American society, which you got to be damn near white or damn near just non-black. They do it. A lot of them, people who look like myself, for instance, even though I'm predominantly black, but just go with me. A lot of other biracial dudes who are at least somewhat distinguished from, you can tell that they may have something in them, they take that and they go to other cultures who see them in the same fashion, in that same genetic fashion of being mixed, i.e., the Latino culture, i.e., the Middle Eastern culture, if given that they and the Muslim stuff, i.e., hell, the Indian culture, as little of a secret as it's kept, and hell, even outside the country where you have quote unquote white other countries and blah blah blah, or even some Asian countries, you do not have the one drop rule being an issue outside of the United States, and a lot of dudes realize that. So hence, they're just capitalizing on being treated like a human being, or just at the very least be treated like one of the boys. I mean, and so it's when it comes to light-skinned women, I get it. I'm not seen as white enough in black and white America, but I'm seen as a damn near queen, if not, or definitely a queen or damn near goddess in black America. Light-skinned dudes, biracial dudes, they don't get the benefit really anywhere. So unless they end up just befriending a bunch of non-white or non-black people like Latinos, Asians, and a whole bunch of other dudes, they just take the opportunity and go where they can fit. They don't bitch a lot. They don't sigh and march and do the colorist crybaby routine and shtick. We just take our strategy. We just see life for what it is at 50%, and then we strategize. And which leads me to what's going to happen, I think, in the future. I think a lot of light-skinned dudes are sort of starting to question on, oh, why can't I get the light-skinned chick to like me? Why can't I get the biracial chick to feel me like she feels either the dark-skinned dude or the white dude? And a lot of those biracial dudes, I'm just saying those who want biracial women, they're going to make their own coalition in order to really put some things in check and put some balances in order. And when that happens, a lot of people they're going to feel the heat.
Oh shit! So what you saying is you mixed niggas is making plans, huh? We never listen. We never gonna let y'all back on top ever. Light skinned niggas, you're done. I am sorry, brother. Never. We survived the holy trinity of light skinned niggas: Steph Curry, Drake, and Chris Brown back in what 2015, nigga. It's over with. They can't get it done.
It was over.
If they can't get it done, nobody can. But nah, seriously.
Yeah.
So, and again, man, it's great to have this point of view that you give in, because I really do think that we need to, if at all possible, be trying to because this is what I'm saying, because everybody got so mad. I don't know if you heard when I said this, and I was saying that black people need allies, right? We're never going to be able to achieve power and achieve our own and have any type of recognition or movement or respect just in this country alone, not to mention globally, right? Until like within ourselves, because again, we haven't done it yet. You see what I'm saying? We can't figure it out. We're not gonna. It's not enough of us that are progress minded and power minded to make it to where we need to be. Okay, so we're going to have to reach out to other groups, be it white men or non-ADOS immigrants or mixed people, this, that, and the other. So my question to you is, okay, are the immigrants and or the mixed people willing to come together and create and like you said, not the trash motherfuckers, because everybody not gonna make it, man. Everybody can't make it. Everybody not gonna make it. Hell no. But for the ones of us that are power minded, progress minded, how do we come to the immigrants and the mixed people and be like, hey man, we got to figure this shit out? Because at the end of the day, if we go to the white man before we go to y'all, okay, then we just still gonna have this thing, and we really can't trust them motherfuckers anyway, because we're just using them for the thing, right? But if we can create this coalition as to where the ones of us that are about something and moving up out of, like you said, just the dregs of society, how do we get that done?
Well, you just answer your question. Get rid of the dregs. Get rid of the riffraff. And stop clinging on the swag like rednecks cling on to guns. Now, I'm a Second Amendment advocate, but just if we're going to take that quote, like how the left says, oh, you rednecks have to cling on your guns and your Bible. The ADOS class needs to stop clinging on to their swag and their hood status. It's just as simple as that, because that's the main reason, more than the light skin, dark skin, female gender stuff, and more than that. The main reason why a lot of immigrants and a lot of multiracial individuals are going to look to create their own group is because of that riffraff culture. It's because of that hood swag culture. It's because of that. And you got a lot of people, not to say that there aren't ADOS black people who are working to get away from that culture too. Trust me, there are plenty of people who are like that. I mean, that's a good reason why the Black Manosphere was created. But a lot of those individuals, they're going to end up either with non-black people or non-ADOS black people, and seeing with the BS that they went through, they're going to raise their son or daughter to be more or less part of that less dysfunctional or more functional culture of the mother. So with that being said, that's one of the main things that might even get this thing really lit, not because of the immigrants or the biracials themselves, but because of the ADOS fathers teaching their immigrant or half immigrant or half biracial individuals to not fuck with those niggas over there.
Okay. All right, man. So we get the dregs of society out of the way, and we bring the productive, power-minded black people together. All right. So how long does it take for because so now though, so I guess this is a bigger question. So now that we've got the dregs out of the way, right? And we've reduced the so let me ask you this one. So and Devil's Bane, I see you, man. I'm gonna bring you up here probably like 5-10 minutes or so. What's the percentage of the dregs for Xanatos estimation?
So I always go by this. I'll be honest. The tragedies of society, I'm not going to even say they're a majority, but they are a plurality. And I'm going to give them 35%. Now, the
35.
straight up dregs in society, 35%. But the wannabe dredge, the poser dredge, the people who want to pretend to be down with all the swag and stuff, or the people who want to go in and out, that sort of thing, who want to play swag or play gangsta, as what MLT says, Renaissance fair gangstas, or people who admire the dredge of society. Oh, they're a majority. They're like 65%.
Okay, all right. So the actual, motherfuckers is out here drug dealing, stealing, and killing. That's only 35. But the people that live vicariously through them are 65. The other 30%.
Exactly. The people I like to call the mediocre Negroes. And a lot of them, it isn't just getting rid of the dredge of society. You can easily just focus the ire on the dredge of society. That's simple. It's those in the middle who decide, who admire it. The black woman who, yeah, she's professional and she overall doesn't. She is in the hood, but she deals in the hood, if you know what I mean. The black dude who is from the suburbs, who is from a decent family, but tries to go out there and slings dope in order to impress said black woman. Yeah, those are the individuals who really need to get themselves checked in order to really have any sort of chance of an alliance with multiracial and African individuals or immigrant individuals.
Okay. Shout out to West End for the 5. It won't happen. Arabs, Indians, etc. need us to be where we are so that they can survive. Why would they kill their easy stream of money? Well, I wasn't speaking about Arabs and Indians as much West M as I was speaking about people from Africa. So it would be like African black people for the most part, people from the diaspora. I know we got a big Nigerians, Somalians, Ethiopians, and what's that, Kenyans. I think that's like the major. If you look it up, you can see what are the major African countries when it comes to immigration. And I know Nigeria is pretty like one of the biggest. So I'm not really speaking to the Arabs and Indians aspect of it. I'm speaking to like you said, it would be Africans and people from the Caribbean, pretty much. That's what I'm talking about, not those. Appreciate you, brother, for the $5. And okay, so we get the coalition going. All right, how do we how do we keep the ADOS people from being guilted back into letting the dregs in? How do we do that? How do we get the hey man, that's my mama, that's my brother, that's my uncle, that's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? They giving you the tear dog eyes. They need you to put some money on their books, and whether they in jail, they need you to pay the light bill, even though they already on government assistance or Section 8. How do we just completely and totally get us the ADOS people to say like, hey man, they like Lot's wife, man. We gotta leave them behind. Don't look back. And, you know what I'm saying? Let them turn into a pillar of salt and move forward. How do we get that? Because I think one of the biggest things, man, is like you said, that whole you ain't black. You know what I mean? Even like when people come to me with it, I'm pretty much numb to it now. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, but the majority of people, and that why the dregs is so big is they let themselves be defined by the opinions of their blackness. So how do we get people to see the light and say, hey man, this black card shit ain't nothing. It means not a goddamn thing. Fuck that. You either coming with me or you're getting left behind. How do we start that process?
See, that's where that 65% comes in. You got 65% of people who sympathize with that hood culture, who want to be part of that hood culture. No, we can't have that. It's a no tolerance. And how you handle it is saying, hey, look, oh, you want to be a little sympathizer towards Nook Nook and Day Day and them? Okay, we're just going to go on ahead and do what we were going to do in the first place and making our own subcultures and separating ourselves from the ADOS cultures, and at the very least being in the middle of this American totem pole. Because here's the thing, a lot of Middle Easterns, like what he said, Arabs and Indians, the Arabs and Indians, along with the Asians and Latinos, they aren't fucked with like ADOS blacks are. I mean, given the narrative, they're at least left in the middle. I mean, you got the story of, the black person who gets pulled over and then gets arrested versus the white person gets pulled over and just gets a warning, and everyone else just getting a ticket. I mean, a lot of immigrants who are going to be like, all right, and a lot of biracial people, they're going to be like, yo, you know what? Oh, you want to hang on to this ADOS hood culture? All right, well, we're going to do what we were going to do in the first place, and make our own little group over here to be in the middle of this American totem pole, so we won't get as much heat as you all. Because let's be honest, half the reason why ADOS blacks are getting this heat in the United States is because of this maintaining of this scruggle underclass ADOS hood culture, this riffraff that I keep telling a lot of people about, that they're just addicted to it. I don't know why. I mean, every single time you say, I'm just a nigga, man, y'all mean? I'm like, even dudes are like, dude, no, you're better than that. But people insist on holding on to that swag culture like rednecks do the guns. You got to give up something. I mean, you want to keep your swag and be considered the underclass of American society and the dredge of the world, or you want to give up that swag for a high likelihood of being seen as a wanted member of society. And I think a lot of people fear it. That's what they fear. A lot of people, they won't tell you this because ego, but I think a lot of ADOS blacks literally fear giving up that swag identity, the one identity that gives them some sort of dignity in whatever way that is. And they fear that by giving up that they then no matter what they do, they won't be accepted as Americans, which I'll be honest, that is one thing that American mainstream society has failed to do. If I will give ADOS black culture a break, it comes to this. American society has not done a great job in showing how those who assimilate to American culture are embraced in American culture. They'll do this for Latinos and Asians and whoever embraces into American culture. They'll give them the pass. They're basically treated damn near white. But when it comes to American blacks who assimilate, who do the right things, there are not a lot of examples of where American culture will allow them to transcend beyond their race. And if America is to be as great as it wants to be, if America is to last 1,000 years, then that is something that the United States will have to eventually do. And that's something that America has going to have to decide. Are they going to allow blacks to truly assimilate into their society, or are they just going to play this little, well, we'll treat you well until something happens, or we'll treat you well until somebody, no.
All right, shout out to Mr. Kell for the $5 cash out. Thank you, Mr. Kell. And shout out to W Alfonso for the $4.99. Appreciate you, brother. I don't know if you tried to put something in there. If you wanted to put something in the message and they didn't let you, man, just at me and I'll make sure I highlight it, brother. Appreciate you for the $4.99. All right, we got my man Devil's Bane in the building. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
Can't complain. What's going on? What's up with you?
About the same. Pretty good. I'm in a kingside hotel right now. I'm chilling, happy with life. I can't complain.
Hey, man, sounds good to me, man. You got red bottoms on, man. Got your red bottoms on?
No, I'm not that bougie yet, but
yeah, man, life is
I'm
good,
doing my
man.
thing.
You like Future and Drake, man. Life is good, man. So I saw
Exactly.
you in the chat. You were saying you really wanted to get in on this topic. You're pretty new here to me. I don't see you quite often, so I guess you know Clutch. I imagine.
Yeah, I'm pretty new, honestly. I've seen. I was actually just in Soul Provider Speaks live stream a minute ago. I was telling him about my whole Manosphere experience, about like how I got into this whole thing and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, I'll share that with you if you want. But yeah, I've only been in the Manosphere for about a few months.
Okay, cool. So are you ADOS guy, dark skinned dude?
Yeah, ADOS.
Dude?
Okay. I'm ADOS, and I'm about brown skinned. I'm really dark skinned or light skinned. I'm like right in between.
Okay, in between. All right, bet. So what's your take on Clutch's take as far as what we need to do to pretty much salvage ourselves if we want to be successful and get out of this, lower tier classification that black people are looked at or ADOS black people are looked at as being in.
I think he was like pretty on point with a lot of it. We definitely have to get rid of the dregs and everything like that. But I mean, a lot of what the dregs do is kind of out of our control because, like, they're outside of what we would consider like the community. I guess like they're in their own like sectors of the hood, doing their thing. Doing whatever they do on a day to day. So I mean, it is what it is. You can't really like interfere and like change that like on an instant basis. So that kind of is what it is. Personally, I think that in order to like kind of reconcile that, we need to start doing our own marketing, really. Like, I mean, say what you will about Kevin Samuels, but I do think like the image thing is significant to a point to like where it influences like the main society, like how a certain group is. So that's kind of how I've.
So that's a great point because I'm actually against that. That unless I'm on record saying that I'm not now the image part is important. I understand that, but to the point of saying that and this is where I have a disagreement with Kevin, because I think he's more era affiliated than he is from the image, and he's putting that take on it as to where you have to wear a suit in order to be taken seriously in 2021. This is not the case. The only time you see these big people, the most influential people now, tech guys, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, even a lot of the other people that are like movers and shakers for the most part, we've transcended about the suit being like, of course, like the standard. Of course,
exactly. I'm in tech right now. Most of the people I see that are like high level tech people, they don't wear suits. They wear fucking t-shirts and khakis or jeans or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing with the suit is that's why I can't get with that. I am though understanding dressing for the occasion and quote unquote code switching. Right. Of course, I would never go into interview
a formal event,
a 6-figure fucking job in my hooping shorts and my BABB. You feel me? I understand that. I think what they're saying is just that standard across the board. This goes back to what Clutch has said. Now, this is the big difficult part too, Clutch, and I'll like your opinion on this because me, I grew up in like the nigga environment. Like I said, I'm from that. That's what I'm and that molds you to a degree and a point of where, you know, the Jordans, the hooping shorts, the this, you know what I'm saying? So what's the happy medium? What's the clutch? What's the happy medium of not being nigga for out? Of course, like, I'm not with the grown men with your ass out, the ass, you know what I'm saying? You buy a belt deliberately to put where your fucking jeans on your ass.
I'll chime in too if you want.
At any age, you know what I'm saying, whether it be young or old, and you know, gold grills and all that kind of crazy shit. But what's the happy medium as to where you can still identify with, you know, I guess like black style, but like you said, not have to be on some, you know, I'm super hood nigga shit. What's the happy medium?
Well, I want to thank Douglas Bain into going into his damage control on why hood culture hasn't been checked, because of that, there is no medium.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So how do we create it then? So how do we? Oh, my bad. Hey man, if y'all want the link drop, man, you got to pay me no money, man. Just hit me in the thing, and I'll matter of fact, I'll pin it. My bad. Appreciate you, Fatal Dose, brother, for the two. So how do we create the medium?
Yeah, and that's a good question as well. I mean, creating the medium. Well, check this out. As far as creating it, I mean, first of all, we have to get away from adopting and trying to borrow from the hood swag underclass culture, because I do see a lot of people in the manosphere who try to put a positive image, but they always have a hood spin to it. It just makes you look silly, and that really does. And with that, we need to make something, whether it's going back to what we had during the era where quote unquote black families were together, or you know what, doing what the other races have done. Since a lot of people have sourced things that we created, but whites and others have stolen and done their own thing, or just have stolen outright and have gotten famous off of. Why can't we do the same to their culture, since their culture is considered better?
Well, if you do that, Clutch, then you acting white. Not acting. You acting white. You want to be white.
Facts. They will hit you with that shit all day long.
You don't
like
want,
they will say,
and
you're white.
And to those
proper English, you acting white. So of course, if you hung up the Jordans for the Sperry's, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, man, you don't want to be acting white out here, man.
And that's a double-edged sword, because it's like, if they say if you're acting white, that's basically saying you're outside of the community. You're not familiar. You're a different type of person. We don't know you. And that's so alienating, because it's like, if you're black, you already feel isolated from white people, and like hearing that, you're just like, well, fuck, like I'm an alien now. Like I don't know what the fuck to do. Like I don't know who's my people.
But here's the thing. I mean, okay, yeah, you can get shamed, and I think that's what a lot of problems lie here when it comes to the black manosphere. I think a lot of guys here, honestly, good dudes, they knew better, but they were shamed into that ADOS BS. You got to have tough skin in order to resist that, and especially
I agree.
Yeah, like trust me, myself, you got to have a lot of tough skin and a lot of will and a lot of sacrifice, social sacrifice, particularly even when it comes to your family members.
My thing is like, that's especially damaging when they say that to younger dudes that don't really know any better, and like they're trying to find their place in the world, and they hear some shit like you're not black and you're white or blah blah blah. That's gonna fuck them up psychologically, and they're gonna be like, well, what the fuck am I then? Because if I don't belong with these people, then I don't belong. I don't feel like I belong with those other people. What the fuck am I? You know?
Well, you know what? A lot of those people end up finding the group. And once they find the group and they procreate, they're going to teach their offspring to not mess with those baby's kids over there, which goes back to the subject at hand of the three fates of Black America. You're going to have these individuals looking at those black people like as just helpless as done, because a lot of them just didn't have the will in order to get rid of the riffraff. It's as simple as that. White America, hell, most of white America doesn't play with their riffraff culture. Trust me, most white Americans are like, all right, you know what?
Hold on. But the difference is, like, black people literally idolize and market their riffraff as like the ideal. So it kind of fucks up younger people that are trying to find their place in the world, because they see that being promoted and they're like, well, I guess I need to do that, but I don't feel like that. And that fucks them up. There's a disconnect.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of Black America and a lot of those, even outside of the community, Blacks who live in decent places, they feel as if they gotta either expose their sons or daughters to it or whatever. But a lot of white America, they don't take that crap. They tell their riff, hey, look, you go in the damn sticks, and you figure out.
You don't count, as Mr. Japp would say.
Exactly.
White people tell their riffraff, they're fat people, they're whores, they're thugs, they're criminals, that they don't count.
Exactly, or they're hoodlums or rednecks or whatever. And if you don't OD on opioids, or if you don't steal a trailer and you behave yourself, we may invite you here for the holidays, and that's it. Yeah. Hell, and that's Latinos, same thing for the most part. Asians, Indians, hell, Africans, forget about it. If you consider yourself a riffraff, you better make some nigga friends. But don't come back here.
They'll try to assimilate to Black culture, like extra thuggy on some Eminem type shit. Like,
exactly. And that's the point. A lot of people don't realize it. We got to be like how those Asians and Indians and Middle Easterners are when it comes to their riffraff. No tolerance. Absolutely. Yeah.
And what's up, fellas?
Go ahead.
Yeah. What's up, Fatal?
Oh, I thought you were done, Xanatos. My bad.
I'm done.
Let me get Mr. Kev in here first. We got Kev 504 in the building. What's going on, Mr. Kev? You muted.
How's it going? Fantastic.
I can't complain, man. What's going on with you?
All right, now, guys. Hey, man, I got me a new mic, man. I got me those little Yada X's.
Okay, bad.
All right, look, I get it. As far as phasing some of them dudes in, I try to tell some older cats, the younger dudes making their own money now, so you got to phase them in, I can respect it. Now, the pants sagging, even some of that's going to come with blending in. Now, I mean, shit, them niggas coming like that, but they also making their own money. When you're generating your own businesses and stuff like that, I think that factors in. But as far as, I was catching bits and pieces of conversation as far as ADOS.
Who are the pan saggers who are making their own money?
Yeah, you got a lot of rappers doing that, man. I'm looking at guys that not only that, when they're making street money, they open up stores, legitimate businesses now.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The riff-raff damage control. Go ahead, continue.
But I'm open to listening to what you got to say, but I'm just saying that's a part of that.
Well, yeah, let me say this. I don't think it's damage control, Clutch. This is what he's saying. So this is the problem and the issue. What happens, right? So when you have these dudes out here that are being successful, but like you said, they have that image, like Devil's Bane alluded to this. You have no incentive to stop doing this if you see the people that are being successful carrying on those traits in that style. So he's not supporting it or saying that it's cool or defending it. He's just saying that's the reality of what's actually going on out here.
I'm just saying that's just kind of what's happening. That's actually there. And them dudes becoming legit. I personally don't see how they dress to certain meetings and stuff like that. But if you got Jay-Z walking in there with his Rockaway gear on, he at the NFL table. The same thing like Mark Cuban, Zecklenberg. I remember when Facebook first came out, I was waiting for the stock as an IPO to come out. It flopped. It dropped from 5. It dropped tremendously because some of the old bigwigs, bankers, did not like how Mark Zecklenberg came to the meeting with a hoodie on, and they wasn't getting stroked and getting some extra amenities and stuff like that. So they wouldn't invest in it until they start seeing
the stock though.
Yeah, until they start seeing the profit come in. So it's been those kind of, it's paving the way either way how I want to dress. I'm sure a lot of people don't care for Zecklenberg them to be a damn board meeting, with a hoodie on. So times are going to change with it. And you just got to adapt. It's like wearing Jordan. Okay, well, Jordan is, I'm 50, so Jordan is the shoe. That's their thing. They're wearing tennis shoes with suits. But I wouldn't knock them down for it. But I do agree with y'all was saying about white people. White people put their trash on the side. the honey boo boos and everything they put on the side. They don't really associate that. We the only one that try to implement our worst count situation. But like alligator hunter and all that, they not sitting at the table. They were like, okay, well that's them over there. I do agree with that. You can't be picking up Pookie and Ray Ray.
Tiger Woods said he's ADOS now. Yeah, man. I'm with Roscoe, man. He's definitely aging after that accident, goddamn. But hey, shout out to Tiger Woods, man. Hopefully he makes a full recovery and everything, whatnot, what have you. We got my man Zoe in the building. What's up, Zoe? What's going on, fam?
What's good, Mr. Fantastic in the panel's good.
Got it, bro. Can't complain.
What's going on?
All right, Zoe.
Man, all right, man. I got a question, man. I'm first generation, born in America and everything like that. But when it comes to the whole ADOS question and non-ADOS thing like that, brother like myself, I would have something to say, and I would feel that whatever I would have to say would be legitimate because I grew up in this country, experienced the same things that the average American brother would experience. But oftentimes when a brother like me would like to speak up, and especially if they know that you're not ADOS, they say, well, brother, you can't really speak up because you're not ADOS. And I was like, well, brother, I grew up in the same country, went through the same thing, child support, everything like that regular American nigga will go through. And you know what I'm saying? So I just want to know, would a brother like me would be okay to speak on a subject like this, to say what American would have to do or ADOS person would have to do to better or improve?
What up, Zoe? And you know what, Zoe? Let me say this, man. Listen, I use this when people do that, right? Because it is nuance to it. All right, it does matter to a degree, and it's certain things that you're just not going to have the experience with because there is a difference. But for the most part, man, my thing is if you're just you have no attachment and no blackness whatsoever, you didn't grow up around black people like on some Barack Obama aspect of it. To me, yeah, man, I got to look into the details, the context of your upbringing. All right, you can look it, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be seen as a black person, but you didn't grow up in a black experience. It's still not for me to say whether you're black or not. I just say you don't know anything about being black. I will say that. You know what I'm saying? But I think like you bring up a great point. A lot of the times people are so quick to discount and say, oh well, man, you ain't no black or what's the name, because what they don't want is that honest criticism. And the best criticism you're going to get is from the outside looking in. A person that doesn't have that attachment to and that reason to make excuses for people that look like them. And I had an actual conversation with a couple of brothers, man. His family's come from the Caribbean, and he straight up said to me, he's like, y'all niggas lazy. And not speaking to me, what's the name, but we see niggas, people from the Caribbean see American niggas, and people from Africa a lot of the time see American black people as lazy as hell. Because it's like, damn, man, we had to pay money. And this dude told me this too. Another big misconception. People always say, oh man, these people come over here on these visas and they this and that and they pick their best. And he was like, man, that's a fucking lie. He said, my dad came over here and he had to pay out of his pocket to get his fucking green card. He had to work the whole time he was here to save up the money to fucking get this shit. He didn't get over here on no visa or on no because he was, the talented 10th, quote unquote. This man had to come here, work hard for however many years it took to pretty much buy and pay for his citizenship for him to be here. So, yeah, man, I think it's a whole bunch of bullshit, especially when people grow up in and around black communities in the black experience to where niggas try to shut them down because they don't want that harsh, unbiased opinion of what's really going on because they don't have the attachment to the fucking the nigga shit.
See, me, since I'm first generation, right? I know and I've seen and I know the history. I everything a black person would know about a black American history, I know. I know the basis, I know everything like that, right? So man, I lost my train of thought already. But hold on. Come back to my bad, bro.
I bet. We got
I could just chime in.
You want to answer that question, Clutch, and then I'm gonna go to Fatal Dose. So
the question about the black experience.
Well, he was asking about he was asking about the opinion of people that are, he says, first generation and non-ADOS have an opinion on the black community and black people trying to shut them down and saying they shouldn't have a word to speak on it, even if they grew up in the black experience. What's your take on that?
Well, who would you rather listen to? Individuals who somewhat look like you and somewhat can relate to you, or individuals who don't relate to you and couldn't give a damn less about you at all? Because everyone's going to have an opinion. So where would you rather hear it from?
Well, like I said, I would want to hear it from the person that's going to tell me the truth. Regardless.
Can I speak as an ADOS?
Yeah, go ahead, Devil's Bane.
So, as a Black American, like, I kind of grew up. I've seen both sides of the coin, basically. Like, I've seen kind of like the hood, sort of, this is kind of all there is mentality, and I've also seen that, hey, if you actually put in a little bit of elbow grease and try towards certain things and show that you are putting in an effort, you can actually get rewarded for your efforts in a lot of ways, like financially and beyond that. And personally, I think that most Black Americans are kind of just nihilistic when it comes to opportunities. They don't see that there are like opportunities, in tech and a lot of, really, tech is like the biggest field right now that I think Black people can get in with like little to no experience and actually make good money to like lift themselves up. I think that's probably like the best opportunity that is right now in 2021. But there is other opportunities, fuck it. Like, if you're good enough with the gift of gab, you can get into sales, man. You can get into customer service, project management, level yourself up that way. There's a lot of avenues that people can take to increase their financial means. And that's really what most Black people are talking about when they talk about, getting opportunities and getting, leveling up or in life or whatever. I know Black men don't talk about leveling up like that, but like, just the concept of like bettering yourself, getting, more money, getting a better quality of life and stuff. Like, you can get that through blue collar fields, just like Roscoe said. Like, it's right there for you, bro. Like, you just need to put in a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of time, effort, shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down for a little bit and put in the work. Like, that's all it takes, really.
Hey, I remember what I was going to say now.
Go ahead, though.
All right. So, I grew up in this and I know the history and everything like that. So I would never dare tell an ADOS person, y'all just lazy. Because I know the trauma that, you know what I'm saying? But I would tell an ADOS person, okay, you on this bullshit. Because believe it or not,
I would tell them they're lazy.
Because believe it or not, when a non-ADOS person comes here, especially when they get raised here and everything like that, I'm telling you, they do the same thing as Black Americans. Some of them go on to go to college and do good and all this other stuff like that. Some of them go right into the streets and stuff like that. Some of them go right into the military. I'm telling you, when the first generation get here and they are born in this America, and like you say, their parents are non-ADOS, I'm telling you, they are no different. It's not like they grew up, not the people that I know, they grow up and they say, F these Americans, F these ADOS. Man, that's not, to them, they are ADOS.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that mostly that problem comes from the parents not teaching the kids valuable skills to let them lift themselves up, like on an individual level.
I'm gonna tell you, a lot of those non-ADOS parents, a lot of them don't come here and they be on that strict parenting. A lot of them be just like ADOS parents who ain't shit parents. A lot of them that come here, they just so happen was on that boat and they got here, and when they get here, they just get them a little BS job, and their kids go to school, and their kids got to go to work and get jobs in order for them to even look good while they even going to school. Because a lot of those non-ADOS kids, if they not doing it, their parents are not working extra jobs. They barely can keep a roof and food and stuff on the table. So a lot of those parents, I'm telling you, they're not strict like you thinking. It's not like how you ADOS people are thinking. It's not like that.
Okay.
I do know some Nigerian kids that went to my high school.
You still got the aspect of slavery and Jim Crow, though.
Right.
You still got that. So that's why I would be like, you're not a native Black like that, because you hadn't, I could still see the suffering my grandparents and stuff had to do in the trickle down effect. And then the whole,
there's a psychological layer.
I'm in Louisiana. I'm 30 minutes from David Duke. They still hitting dudes with you know, they still got a lot of dudes in jail, man, for like $10, $15 worth of marijuana. You know, so when you hit the South, I think the Georgia one thing, when you hit Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, I can still see, touch, and still look at the white dudes over the track that continue to benefit of my brother doing 23 years and my mama having to clean homes because that's the only job they will allow her to do in that area, regardless of her education, because we was just outnumbered on the outskirts of New Orleans. So that's a whole different thing. That's not through the whole Mississippi aspect where we still trying to fight to keep the land. We still got about 20, 30 acres. So there's a whole lot of struggle that goes there that somebody came here that's different. I can still respect it, but I can see the whole thing and how it screwed generations and how they prosper with it. And I've been doing that for over 50 years in the story. So I just think they got a history with it that goes with it. That's affect us today. So I do think that in modern times, you can get whatever you want to teach yourself and whatever kind of education you can get it now. The gig is almost up. So we just got to focus on our thing. As far as history of being born and raised here, I think that's completely different than someone who moved here from any other country or culture and started with that, you know, because I guess I'm just deep rooted and I can feel it and still see it. That shit still goes on. They still got separate things. They still target black areas in the South for higher premium on interest rates, student loans, business loans, and everything. And that started again. Obama brought them to court and had Bank of America and all them plead guilty to 5 top banks. Now that's been hitting my mom. They wanted to charge my mom a 12% interest on our house. So they've been doing that. And the guy that come around selling insurance for $30 a month, but giving it to the suburbs for $5 a month for $50,000 coverage.
You gotta be honest, though. Most black people have shit for credit, bro. I mean, let's keep it real.
I'm talking about even with equal credit, they did studies on that. Okay,
bro. Like I ain't never had no issues. Not to say that I'm all black people, but you know, I've maintained my credit history, you know, above, you know, a decent level, and I've never had any issues with like getting a fairly good, you know, credit limit or fairly good interest rate. So I just don't buy it.
Don't teach black people. You can literally finesse credit.
They literally, but this is the thing. They pled guilty to targeting blacks and other minorities and poor people to do this, not just for business loans, but just on regular insurance.
Are you talking about
and taxes? It was a targeted thing. So you got hit we didn't even get to the prison system thing yet. So
the devil's in the details with these court cases. I mean, to come on a panel and say that these people got targeted for, you know, specifically getting, you know, gouged on interest rates, we got to look at the court case. We got to actually see what the documents say. I can't take your word for it. You know, I'm not calling you a liar, but I need details, bro. You know what I mean?
Hey, can I jump in here for a second?
Yeah, real quick, and we will come back to you, Mr. Kev, because I think you got a very, very important other thing that we didn't touch on, and I'll say that for the end. Let me go come back to you, Mr. Kev. But Fatal, appreciate you as always, brother. Go ahead.
I want to make a comment on what he said, and then I got something else I wanted to bring up. Right,
go ahead. You got it.
All right, so check this out, right? So there's ADOS people, not just in America. I keep hearing brothers saying that ADOS only in America, right? ADOS is anyone that was brought out of Africa into the slavery, whether you're in the Caribbean, North or South America, right? So I'm ADOS, but I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. And I fell into a lot of the same traps when I was younger that other brothers were falling into, right? Running with the wrong dudes, doing the wrong things. So, but the one thing is, I was around, I grew up around Black Americans, went to the same schools, had to be searched by the cops the same way they were harassed and all of that, right? But we can't just discount the fact that Black people don't care about their credit and their financial future and and well-being. Not every Black person, but a large majority of them do not care to set themselves up for success. So therefore, when they get a when they try to go for a loan and they have that 550 or 610 credit and they get gouged, you know, you can't really say that it's only they're only targeting you because you're Black. Absolutely, I there's some of that going on, but you know, because I had good credit, my mortgage, I had great mortgage rates, great mortgage rates, right? Because I took the time for me to think about my financial future, which a lot, and I speak to brothers and they don't even care about that. So
Yeah.
we can't not care about it on the one hand, and then when it impacts us because we didn't take care of it, complain that they're coming after us on the other hand. So if every brother that went for a loan in these banks had a 750 credit and they got gouged, then I would agree with you. But that's not what's happening.
Facts.
So, and the other thing I wanted to say is that, as the brother was saying, Clutch was talking about earlier about the dressing. Kevin is right and wrong about the dress, because I worked in corporate America since the mid 90s, where everybody was coming in with suits, and eventually corporate America gradually started getting rid of the dressing up, because Gen Xers and some of the whatchamacallit before Gen Xers, boomers started coming in and and taking charge and getting rid of the older guys. They got rid of a lot of those rules. However, there's a big problem with Black men growing up. Part of it is that you know, it's cool. Back in the 80s and 90s, I was rocking my cross colors, my Parasucos, and you know, my baggy Guess jeans and all of that, right? But at one point, at which point in your life do you stop being a kid? And Black men are caught in a perpetual cycle of them trying to be as young as possible. And the impact that that's having is, number one, you have all the rappers out there talking about killing cops, shooting cops, robbing people, being thugs, and you're dressed just like them. And then you get upset when you're treated based on the way you're dressed, because the image that's being put out there about us is that we are a bunch of thugs, and then you walk in looking like a thug. I mean, I saw a grown man, his entire head was gray, with skinny jeans and his pants pulled down his butt, showing his underwear. This man must have been at least in his 60s. Bro, that's insane. Like, when do we grow up? And I think that's the big problem we need to focus on, is that Black men want to be 16, from 16 to the grave, and that's having an impact on us. So while we may not have to wear a suit, I mean, check this out, right? This is how I dress pretty much, right? And I'm rocking it with jeans, right? So you know, I stand out. So I'm not dressed like everybody else. I want to wear my jeans and I put a blazer on, my shirt, rock my bow tie, and I go places and everybody's like, yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. You know, because I'm a grown man. You're not going to treat me like a kid. At the same time, I see the some brothers coming in the same places I go to and dress any kind of way. They don't get the same treatment that I do. But then they turn around and say, well, it's racism. So we have to handle the problem of, when do we grow up? When do we begin dressing like like we care about ourselves, and that we're not
Just
trying to be a
presenting
thug?
yourself in general. Like, if you're in tech, you don't have to wear a suit and tie all the time. Like, you can wear casual clothes, but I think you just need to present yourself with a level of professionalism that lets people know, like, I'm a competent individual and I am self-aware to a certain extent.
But honestly, though, I think being competent, you know what I mean? I think we at times do focus too much on the appearance and not have any substance behind it. That is the problem. If you have substance in your life, if you have knowledge in your life, if you have something beyond a suit and a good vernacular, you can, what I'm saying, spit game, quote unquote. You know what I mean? If you got actual foundation, all the other shit is just surface matter shit, bro. What's beneath the surface? What's beneath the suits and the ties and all that extra shit? I see
Your
niggas,
history of work experience.
I see niggas wear suits and shit, right? And then they'll post a IG photo, a picture, or whatever. Yeah, king shit, nigga. Like what? Like, you just put a suit on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you just was in some fucking dusty ass Adidas slides, man. Like for real. And the thing is, most black men, most niggas are kind of impressed by shit like that, bro. And there's nothing behind it.
Hey man, shout out to bro. True, listen, bro. For one, bro, and I will give Kevin Samuels a lot of credit on this. Look, bro, listen, man. Even if you go to, let's say, Men's Warehouse or Joseph A. Bank or whatever, I would never ever tell you to go out here and spend $500 or $1,000 on a suit. It's just not that, bro. But again, you can go and get you a nice suit, bro. Get it tailored and look like $1 million. Again, whenever you get your suit, man, you ain't supposed to just put the shit off the rack. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to have some type of adjustment. But that is one thing, bro. Because I know when we was growing up, and it's just I blame Steve Harvey for this. Rest in peace, respect to Bernie Mac and all them niggas back in them days. But listen, man, these elephant pant leg ass suits, damn zoot suits, man.
Yeah.
Looking like a whole
wide ass shoulders.
Crayola motherfucking Crayola crayon box.
Look like he had a blouse on each leg.
Yeah, and ill fitting and shit. So shout out to Kev for that, man. But the whole aspect is when you do it, it's not an everyday requirement. And to bro Truth's point, man, listen, it's a lot of dumb broke niggas that can put a suit on, bro. All right, if you don't got nothing going for yourself, you just wearing the suit for the sake of image or whatnot, what have you, and you're not productive. You're 10 times worse than a nigga that's got on a pair of khakis and a polo. You know what I'm saying? And this dude is an entrepreneur or he has a set career. So I think that's a lot of times.
My discrepancy with that.
Okay. Oh,
I do agree for the most part that people can tell the difference between a dude in a suit and like a actual competent brother. But I think the actual competent brother like shines above just the average lay dude in a suit because they can actually talk the talk, reference experiences, and use the lingo that is used in the industry to communicate that they know what the hell is actually going on. And I think that goes a long way with a lot of people.
Hey, it's all Danitos. Go ahead, Danitos.
This goes beyond the suit. This goes beyond if you wear a suit on Saturday or on whenever day. A lot of this culture, because you can't hide riffraff behind the suit. I mean, all you're gonna have is just the source of words. But other than that, as far as the reputation is concerned, the main thing that needs to be addressed is this. Somebody said this gang culture, this hood culture that has oozed Black America. No suit or no dress or no skirt is going to resolve that. It starts in the mindset, and it starts. Well, you can say it starts in the family as well, but I don't see people trying to get fathers back in the home like that these days. I see people trying to avoid being fathers, if anything, which I don't blame them, given how things are in this country. But nonetheless, what is going to happen in the future with this ADOS culture is that you're going to have a lot of people due to this riff-raff culture, due to how a lot of these babies kids are clinging on to game and swag or hood culture in general. A lot of people are going to, particularly African immigrants and biracial individuals, they're going to get tired of dealing with the Black experience. They're going to get tired of being seen as nothing but a you-know-what. But a lot of them, and this is just human primal nature, they're going to capitalize on any sort of little difference that they have and say, hey, look, I've had it with being treated like crap. I'm not one of these individuals, and here's why. And when that day comes, then that's when you're going to see a lot of the stuff that I'm detailing within my three fates hypothesis.
Well, I don't think they really ever considered themselves to be a part of, the ADOS community in the first place. I've never seen any type of integration. Maybe third generation, perhaps, or fifth generation, but first, second generation, man, like hell no. But even third generation, man, this idea that Africans coming over here and integrating into the Black community, man, I don't ever see that.
So Thomas Sowell got a very interesting.
But honestly, I think eventually, man, if you just look at the immigration policy that's taking place right now on the southern border, bro, you know what I mean? And no one really knows how many people have immigrated over here. The high end estimates about 30 million or so, and that's being generous. So honestly, with this new administration in the way that they essentially are coming in and taking over our neighborhoods, quote unquote, our neighborhoods, we are no longer going to matter in about 5 to 10 years because they're going to have a whole new voting base.
So caveat to that.
Yeah, I mean that's what the dude in office said now, that the Blacks got to get with the Hispanics because we're going to be under them.
So Africans do not have the same problems that ADOS men have. Like Africans can get jobs as lawyers and doctors and other high-level specialized careers because they can communicate competence to their employers and they get the jobs. Like that's, if you're trying to get a job, then Africans will have the blueprint for you. Like they can get jobs in high-level, high-paying careers.
But you gotta think, a lot of those Africans that come here, they're not like dirt poor Africans. Like their family already had money, and they had money to send them to American colleges and stuff like that. So they were, even if they were here, they would already be at like kind of an advantage, right? Because financially, their parents will be taking care of them.
That's not true across the board. There's Africans that come here that are poor as well, that had to save for years for them to get over here. Like even my family moving up here from the Caribbean, it took years for them to be able to do that. And I remember I was on a panel and somebody said, well, when they come here, they get welfare. That's not true either. I don't know how it is today, but when my family was coming up in the 70s and 80s, we didn't show up and they just... We didn't show up and they just handed us welfare, and that's something that they didn't want anyway. So they had to go to work. They had to build their finances. And like, for example, let me just drop this quick, right? So for example, my mother was the first in my immediate family that came. She was sponsored by my uncle. She had to come by herself, work, and show her finances before she could bring my dad. My dad came up and had to work, and both of them had to show their finances that they could afford to take care of the kids before they were allowed to bring us here, right? So we're talking about a span of like 7 years that the family was broken up, right? So I didn't live with my mom from the time I was like 4 years old till the time I was almost 11. So so this is why I have no sympathy when people are telling me, well, they're breaking up families and all of this, because my family's been through it. We survived it and we were better for it. So this whole notion that people are coming in here and the government is handing them welfare for them to get their lives together, so they have a leg up on ADOS Blacks that were born here is not true.
Why is there free college for immigrants? Why would they be including immigrants in the recovery fund? Why illegal immigrants have the ability to get on welfare and receive WIC? They're not even American citizens. Why do they have a voting block in a lot of local elections?
That's
Why
not what
are
I'm
they
talking
trying to
about. I'm
count
not
them
talking
on
about.
the American census, bro?
Bro, I'm not talking. Bro,
They
hold
are
up.
trying to integrate these illegals into the American society. That is
Okay,
the
so
plan, bro, and that's
All right,
exactly what's
bro,
happening.
can
I
I
say something real
answer?
quick?
I'm not talking about illegal immigrant. If you heard what I said, you know, I flew up here on American Airlines and went through customs and had to get my passport checked and all of that. I don't know why, and I just said that all of this talk about separating families at the border. I don't give a crap about all of that because I waited online. They should wait online.
Now, see,
I came here legally. They should come here legally. So,
see,
but I don't agree with any of that, right? And I'm someone who was born in another country.
Okay, I think I
So
misunderstood. I think I misunderstood your point. And I thought you were saying that there is no chance of them supplanting black people as the underclass darling in America. But that is occurring, bro. That is
oh
absolutely
yeah, that's what
occurring.
I just said. I just said
Okay,
that.
I'm my bad, bro. I misunderstood
Okay,
your point there, Fatal Dose.
but
all right.
Fatal Dose, let me ask you, Fatal Dose, did you said you were born in another country, okay? See, now I don't know if you know this or not, but like in the 80s, a lot of those island people, when they were getting here, a lot of them were having babies here. So when the baby, when they had a baby here, I guess what they call anchor babies and stuff like that. So they would allow them to come and stay. Now the only reason I said that about the Africans and stuff like that, because from I think I heard an African person on the panel, they were saying like, their parents they were already taken care of, and a lot of their friends were basically doing the same way. That's the only way I figured that's the way the Africans would come here. Now I do know for a fact when I was in San Diego, right, there were actually white people, I guess through like some kind of church organization or something like that. They were actually sponsoring a lot of Africans. The Africans would come here, they would set them up in an apartment. It'd probably be like maybe 6 of them in a 3-bedroom or 2 or 6 of them in a 3-bedroom, maybe 4 in like a 2-bedroom or something like that. And they would sponsor them, always take them to go grocery shopping, pay their bills and all that. And somebody was telling me, I think like the white people was getting some kind of tax break, or there was some kind of way they were sponsoring, and they were just bringing Africans every couple of months. It was like a different group of Africans living in these apartments. Some of them move them out, and some of them come in, and they'll be all going to college, like all going to college. Some of them was track stars or track runners and all that, but shit was crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I ain't African. Never been to Africa. I was born in Haiti, so I don't know anything about that. I didn't
No,
have any white people sponsoring me
no,
or
no, no, no. I
free
was telling you.
college or.
No, I was telling you because you said something about you had got sponsored, and I was saying, well, I do know of, and this was back in like 2000 when I seen that, like year 2000 when I seen the white people actually sponsoring regular Africans, and they was like taking care of them. So it's not like a lot of these Africans are are not coming here with the help of white people too now.
Mhm. Oh yeah, sure. That a lot of that's going on. I've seen that go on, but um,
So I,
it begs the question as to why are they going across an ocean to help blacks that are across the ocean versus the ones in their own neighborhood. And it brings me back to the whole idea of us not realizing that we're outnumbered by them, and we have to live with them in society, and therefore we have to act accordingly. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this right here,
It's
Fatal
pretty
Dose.
much because we go ahead, man.
Hey,
My
come
bad.
on, bro. We gotta pass the mic.
yeah. Hey,
Okay.
y'all
Yeah,
got
go ahead, bro.
keep on here, man. Go ahead, Citizen Lou is on you. I was just gonna say, go ahead.
My bad. Y'all was rocking for a minute. My bad.
Yeah, hey, I don't. Hey, this is all I wanted to say, bro, real quick. Salute to Fantastic, salute to the panel. Hey, man. Yeah, this is a big topic because I said this before. A lot of people get mad, but it's the truth. If you take mulattoes out of Black history, if you make them their own group, we lose a significant portion of Black history. I've heard somebody say that Black history is actually biracial history. Hey, man, it's crazy.
Man.
A lot of people. I know. Hey, it is what it.
Lou, man, you pulling up the motherfucking rug, man. Come on now,
bro. I'm just saying. We look at Obama. You know what I mean? His mother is Caucasian. We look at Kamala Harris. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that
we should necessarily be like, oh, ADOS is fucked up. I mean, it's just that we need to make a change, because what is finna happen, they are finna import some new blacks with the Indians do, come out. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's happening already. Silicon Valley, 51% of people there are immigrants. So I mean, I think the corrective action. I think I heard Xanatos Clutch talking about it before. Either we separate from this, this bullshit culture and start this black civil war and make this happen, or we are gonna fall by the wayside. We will fall. It is what it is.
Hey, bro, can I say something on that? Back
Go
in
ahead.
early 2000s, right? I was in corporate America, and I remember the first time they sent out a memo talking about diversity, right? And I approached other blacks in the company, and I said, look, we need to do something to oppose this, because they're going to use that to bring other people in that are a minority class, and then black people are going to lose, because we're going to find ourselves being cut off out of corporate America, because they no longer have to say, well, we got this many black or that many black. Bro, they start the same old ass Negroes started accusing me of being some kind of a racist and all of this other stuff, man. And look what's happened. And I'm in tech, and I see it all over tech now, where I was trying to tell brothers,
They
yo,
were
get in
wrong.
tech since the 90s. And their brothers weren't interested, and
We were
they
wrong.
just imported them. Yep.
Yeah, he right, and
Right.
you're 100% right, bro. In tech too, I remember it was me, and it was two mixed dudes, and it was just crazy. It's just that's what's gonna happen, and
Well, it's all about globalism, man. It's all about going to the best, basically the cheapest worker you can find. You know what I mean? If fuck quality, quality be damned. Not to say that all of these motherfucking Indian dudes they immigrating over here are idiots, but I work with a lot of them, and a lot of them really don't be knowing shit.
but see,
Honestly,
what's
they
funny though,
don't.
bro. Truth, it's irrelevant because they're here regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
are being imported, and I'm gonna say this last thing with passing the big truck. We also got this ADOS tag too, man. It's like we bringing in this. It's like the oppressive gene. It's like the kids who are coming in on this shit. They think they ain't shit. They think they from slave. They think they bullshit. That's why when other black kids from Africa, they come here, they don't have that mindset for the most part. You know what I mean? Like nobody really thinks like that but us. So we got to change our mindset, or this ADOS shit. I was gonna tell you this, fantastic. I'm done after this. I think that in 2053, that last year, I think black people might do what we always do at some last minute shit, and then hopefully we turn this whole shit around at last year. But I don't know, or we go extinct. So
Real quick, Lou, it won't be a point of extinction. It won't be like extinction of the race. It's just from what they're saying, it'll be political death and political fucking. Not political, financial fucking like underclass permanently. There's no way for us to recover. We won't have enough to even be anything more than like middle upper class at the majority of us, and and that will be very very few individuals. And like you guys said, shout out to you, shout out to Bro Truth, and shout out to Fatal Dose, and the new brother Devil's Bane. Niggas just aren't picking up what we need to pick up fast enough. You have way too many black people and children being forced away from the surefire thing or the higher guaranteed money and higher guaranteed success fields into pipe dreams of I'm gonna be
rapping, playing ball,
be a football player, NFL and basketball player. And again, all those things are fine and dandy and cool. You want your kids to aspire for the greatest, but at the same time, it's like they're not having any safety net. Again, I think on average, the average NFL career is something like 5 years, and I think the average NBA career is shorter than that. And then we know even the best of them, the motherfuckers that make the hundreds of millions of dollars, still end up what broke. You know what I mean? Or in so much debt, it's ridiculous. So the thing, man, is and now with this debt bubble that's looming here, bro. We just got another $2 trillion thrown on top. Well, not officially yet, but before the week is out, or before the month. Well, the week ends this month, so before the beginning or the end of next week, it's projected that they're going to have this new stimulus bill approved. You're gonna have another $2 trillion placed on top of already what 28 trillion somewhere hitting, I think what $30 trillion in debt, with no real exports going out, no necessary resources, them cutting back on fracking and things like that. So we were producing oil at one point. Now you're gonna have a major decrease in that. So again,
And they
man,
already talking about the digital dollar too. If anybody watched the hearing today, where Powell was actually explaining how the rollout of the digital dollar would occur.
wow.
Like, yeah, they're already talking about putting this out. Like, seriously.
I didn't hear that. So again,
Yeah,
there's just so many things happening, man, where it's looking extremely bleak. And the 30-year map we had is actually somewhere like right now, the sweet spot will be 5 years at max, but that will be major moves made until for sure where everybody, you at least like a 60% rate of black people are bought in and are on the purpose they need to be for us to pull up out of this in a 5-year period. You feel me? But we got Big Truck in here. Big Truck, go ahead, bro.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
What the fuck?
Good evening.
I hope everyone is doing very well. Well, I guess I think the first thing I wanted to say a little while back is I've had to work with new coming African immigrants who were buying property here. And the one thing I noticed is they had like extremely high credit scores. And the reason why is because they had just built their credit and they hadn't had time to ruin it. Meanwhile, any of us who had already been here, we've had time to actually go through school and we've had time to fuck up our credit. And here I'm dealing with people who've got 800 scores who've only been here like 3 or 4 years, So I'm not giving anybody an excuse, and I'm not making any excuses or anything. I'm just saying there are reasons why a lot of immigrants who do come here, regardless where they come from, are able to make leaps and bounds steps ahead of people who are already here. And in addition to that, you have to remember they have banks at home. They have joint bank accounts with family, and they got the susus and all this shit. And the thing about it is they have access to finances that genuinely we do not have, because they have an entire bank behind their entire name or their country. So whether it's Bank of China, Bank of Nigeria, whatever. So they have advantages that somebody like me who's been here, grew up here, does not have. My family's grown up here. They don't have those advantages. So, again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm just saying that those are the realities of what you're dealing with. Now, as for the last thing I'll say is, as for the possibility of us basically being gentrified out and replaced with new Africans or replaced with Caribbean immigrants or replaced with Hispanics, all I can say is, Darwinism is the fact. It's like if you don't have the benefits and the advantages in order to stop that next species or whatever it is that's coming to take your place, then you just get taken. That's all.
Facts.
Bro, this has got to be the most civil I've ever heard Big Truck, bro. Like, you must have some goddamn melatonin.
He must took his medication.
Man.
This is real shit. Big Truck,
actually,
Big Truck on that real shit.
Pills, man.
Just to let
That's
you
what
know,
I was saying.
just to
You
let
don't
you
hit
know.
that. You don't hit that motherfucking chill pack, man.
No. Just to let you know. Just to let you know, I took a cap full of NyQuil with honey in it a little while ago, so I guess I'm feeling.
Oh, you sipping that lean, man. Off that scissor. Off that scissor.
Big Truck came with us, boy. Too calm. Big Truck said, "Hey man, y'all finna get breeded out."
Big Truck got no rainbow colors. Rainbow colors in his cup.
Yeah, man. Real quick, shout out to KS for 299. We don't glorify reading and education or unity. Shout out to KS. That is extremely true, brother. That is something that we definitely don't do enough of. Shout out to Indigenous for the 5. Liberal black will not survive, period. They're the weakest link. Society is merely maxing out on what it can use them for before pulling the plug. So real quick. So yeah, Clutch, you was gonna come in anyway. It's a great timing. So Clutch, what is your take on the political aspect of this? So do you even think we have the because Africans and immigrants and whatnot, they don't necessarily have a political block, but we know they have political power in being the things they get done for their communities and the things that Big Truck was talking about, the grants, the stipends, the incentives, and all these things, right? So they automatically have this this influence politically because they Nigerians, like I said, I think they're top 3 in demographics as far as like making money and revenue. So how big of a piece does that play? The political ignorance or the political the lack of political knowledge work in this thing?
I mean, when it comes to politics, Africans are, and for that matter, Caribbeans, and to an extent, Black Latinos, as I said, the immigrant Blacks are well on their way to having influence, and they're doing it in silence, and they're doing it effectively. See, they don't have to be even a good amount of a population in order to get stuff done. See, that's the thing that ADOS Blacks don't realize, is that they think, oh, strength in numbers, we need to have more Black families and that sort of thing. I mean, a lot of it's coke and BS and a selfish ulterior motives, which, I mean, we can all go into, but that'll be a whole nother 30 minutes. But as far as politics are concerned, the Africans are playing it like the Asians and Jews. A lot of them, as I said, they have low population numbers, and their numbers aren't going to explode anytime soon. But nonetheless, they have political influence, and more importantly, they have respect amongst politicians and amongst the population in the United States. I mean, for instance, when it comes to hate crime against any of those individuals, those are actually taken serious. They actually get the legitimate concern versus the faux concern that you see the mainstream media gives Blacks when something happens to one of us. But as far as that, I mean, politically speaking, they're playing it a lot better than we are. And we don't know it because they're doing it in silence. They're doing it in a way which it's more effective, which leads back to having individuals who can advocate for you and who can be taken serious by the dominant society. I hate to say it, but a lot of Black America, they love to ward away to individuals who can make the difference between your race and your culture being taken serious, let alone respected, and being the laughing stock of the world.
So,
Hey,
let me jump in here for a second. So part of the issue.
I'm gonna to you after this, Fedodos, and this goes back to Citizen Lou. Shout out to Citizen Lou. So the most successful Black person in history would be, you know, even though he's not Black, is Barack Obama. And like you said, man, politicians are raised, not made. All right. Barack Obama, you know, he didn't have the quote unquote Black experience or any of that stuff. This was a dude that was, of course, made to be education's number one thing. Well, he's a Harvard Law, right? Harvard Law graduate, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Harvard Law graduate. I think he did some time as far as either the Peace Corps or something like this, become cultured, and he traveled the world. All of these different things, man. And like you said, Clutch, man, it's just so crazy as to how. Also the brother said it in the chat, man. Shout out to KS. Why I don't understand. I don't understand. Well, I do understand it, but it's like, bruh, how can we not get on this, bruh? Intelligence, intellect, and education is the win. This is it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No matter who you look at, because no matter how big the white man is on the totem pole, right? It's not just because he's a white man. No, it's because he controls the businesses. And again, he has the from an educational standpoint, he has the advantage, and he fucking has the things in the fields that are gonna make the most money. All right, the same thing with the Asian, same thing with the Nigerian. All right, this is why you get here and you have all these fucking, you know, this and umbe that when it comes to these damn doctors, man. These people teach their kids from birth. Hey, you're gonna be this. You're gonna be successful to the point of where you're taught this from birth. So that's something, brother, we got to get on page with like ASAP. But go ahead, Fatal Dose, man. My bad. Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, it's your show, bro. No problem.
Mr. Fantastic said it's the way.
So check this out, right? So this is why I've been trying to drive into Black that integration is a mistake, right? The reason why the problem, when a foreigner gets into a problem, their problem are taken care of, is because they have an avenue to seek a remedy. They could go to their consulate, and the ambassador of that consulate now can approach officials from the U.S. and handle it through official channels, right? Where so they have advocates, and there's international laws that govern this stuff, and they have to adhere to this, because the last thing they would want is for them to violate these international laws, and then an American gets stuck in the country, and they can't get remedy because America violate the law. So they do keep the law. So that's why when a foreigner gets treated different, it's not just because they're not ADOS, it's because they have a remedy. Whereas blacks chose integration versus keeping themselves separate, like the Indians did, right? The Indians have their tribal councils who can petition officially the courts and things like that. I mean, yeah, from time to time it does get violated, but at least they have a remedy. Whereas black people do not have a remedy. All you have is the courts, and they could just look at you and dismiss you. So as long as we keep pushing this integration crap and not separate ourselves, we're going to find ourselves in the same situation 50 years from now.
All right, but here's the thing with the integration stuff. I'm glad you talked about that, because I'm going to pull this trap card on you. What are we going to segregate back into? A bunch of riffraff. Do you want to punish those who are capable of doing something into being judged by the riffraff? Because that's the kind of stuff I had to deal with growing up in a so-called black Mecca. You can shove that self-segregation. I mean, self-segregation may have worked when most blacks weren't riffraff, so whatever. But I'm sorry.
But you know, Xanatos,
that box has been open. That was a paradox or whatever box they call it. That box has been open.
Box.
Please.
Pandora's box. Pandora's box.
Pandora's box. There you go. Pandora's box has been open, and a lot of blacks have chosen the welfare state. So, and riffraff culture. So, what you're going to integrate the blacks who are competent and they can do well across the world in this country back into that, because that's basically what it is.
So I agree with you. It's tough, right? And this is why.
No, it's not tough. Those who can't succeed are not going to go back to that ADOS struggle culture unless they get full reign and full say.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, because I wouldn't just jump into that with the riffraffs, and this is why I'm saying that as long as we accept the thug and criminal culture, and we do not stand against it and say, hey, this is not us, we're not supposed to be doing that, you know, that's what's going to happen. The brother mentioned earlier that brothers are getting thrown in prison for marijuana, but guess what? Marijuana is illegal in most states. So if you're doing something illegal, why are you complaining? You know what never happened to me? I never got arrested for having marijuana because marijuana is illegal, so I didn't do it. You know, so we can't, as long as we make excuses for the behaviors. And then I get all of the arguments about how it's not harmful and things like that. Regardless of all that, it's still on the books as being illegal, and most black men are going to jail because they're doing it. Why don't we just say let's not do it, and let's go to our legislature and have them legalize it, and then we do it, rather than.
I mean, to be honest though, most states, man, it's pretty much decriminalized the shit, bro. Like most people ain't getting locked up for no weed. Most niggas are getting locked up for trying to kill niggas, rob niggas, bust niggas head wide open, and they're white. Okay, hardcore drugs, bro. Niggas ain't getting locked up for weed like that. This ain't the fucking 90s or 80s anymore, bro.
Yeah, dope don't sell like that.
Look, just
unless you got pounds of this shit, nigga, in your trunk.
Where y'all live at, man? Where y'all live out there? Just stop that shit in Louisiana, dog. This is what I'm telling y'all. Within the last 5 years.
Bro,
yeah, but check this out though, bro. But the point I'm making,
I ain't no motherfucking.
I'm just saying. This is what I'm trying to say, man.
We're green on me, bro.
Bro, so this is it though, right?
I got let go. Like for real, bro. I done got stopped twice. One walking and one driving, bro. And niggas let me go. Not to say this is the norm. By far, this is not the norm at all.
Or they could have gave you a felony. Or they could have gave you a felony.
No, dog. It's the thing is underneath the ounce. Underneath the ounce is nothing. It's only a misdemeanor.
I'm in Louisiana, man. They just stopped that stuff within the last 5 years. Man.
Yeah, in the
bro,
South,
check
yeah,
this
but
out, right?
if you look at the rest of the country, bro, most of these states are looking to decriminalize. Look at New Jersey. New Jersey
Yeah, I
just
know it's happening
criminalized.
now. I ain't saying
Yeah.
that, but it's still an
So what?
effect.
But what I'm
And to the
what
brother
I'm
that was
getting to is
saying,
what I'm getting to is most niggas out here that's in the criminal life, they are
yeah,
literally out here doing real dirt, real crimes, man. If you actually look at the fucking subculture, bro, it's all about motherfucking catching bodies, man. Niggas are doing
Yes.
yeah,
some grimy
they
ass
done
shit.
lost their mind
Shannon.
now.
Yeah,
They
straight
lost their
up.
mind now.
Hey, you know what? Hey, brother, True.
Niggas ain't getting locked up for no
Hey, bro.
motherfucking nickel bags no more, bro. These
Nah.
niggas
Hey,
ain't getting locked up
bro, True.
behind real
Hey, hold on.
bullshit.
Let me jump on that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Jump on what Xanatos was saying too. Another thing we got to understand too, ADOS, bro, we are being held under siege by what Xanatos said, the unproductive class. Like, we can't do anything without their opinion being affected, their opinion affecting us politically, financially, economically, because they just doing stupid shit. And that's why I keep saying this Black Civil War need to pop off. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We everybody can't go. Everybody, we ain't all brothers and sisters, kumbaya, ride around. This shit is not feasible.
Facts.
So you know what I mean?
With that.
You know, the number one thing I see black men we have to do. It was just like I was saying the other day. Black men as coach, we just gonna have to like rebrand ourselves. I don't know what it is, or what it is exactly how to start it off, but we just gonna have to rebrand ourselves.
But I'm good with this being. I was good with this being a black man.
No. No saying outside. I would say outside of America or even inside of America, it seems like the number one thing the black man produces is violence and entertainment.
No, that's the black woman. Let's backtrack.
Nah,
the black woman has not produced a president of these United States of America. Let's go ahead and backtrack that real quick. The black woman is the breeder of domestic terrorism. But let's go ahead and
That's true.
let's just keep it real, bro.
Well, if you want to keep it more real, I mean, a lot of this violence is produced because black men are trying to impress a certain kind of woman.
Well, a lot of the violence is produced because most black men are raised by black women and they are led by their emotions. There's no rational thought in the household.
But
so
see, the world doesn't see. But see, the world doesn't see that the black woman is doing that. They only see the niggas out there doing the dumb shit.
No, they do.
That's a marketing.
No, the
that's
woman
not necessarily black men.
Bullshit.
Let me hop in real quick. Zoe said the most important thing. Listen, the even though black men are in the matriarchal gynocratic, shout out to Edward Anderson, aspect of it, the world still judges the black man because what the man is held responsible. So I think what Zoe is saying, we need to start taking extreme attention and heed to that, because even though it's the black women here causing a lot of the fucking the man is being looked at as to you can't control your bitch.
And you can't control yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't control most of these women, though. That's the problem. Like you can't just decide all of a sudden overnight, like we need to rein in black women. Like that's just not feasible.
No, that's not what we're saying. But again, this goes to Xanatos's point and Lou's point. We have to take a hard stance in making like the separation of we not with these ancient niggas. But and this is why I say this is why I asked the question: when and how do we start that? Because we don't got a lot of time left, for one, and then two, you got to get niggas that's not willing to you gonna have to give up your mama, you got to give up your dad, you got to give up your brother, you got to give your sister, you got to give your cousin, you got to give up the nigga that's been your best friend since motherfucking kindergarten. That's what's gonna have to happen. And a lot of people just don't have the mental and or emotional maturity to do that, man.
That's half the motherfuckers I know.
But yeah, and real talk though, Mr. Fantastic. So long as there's an association, right, with that culture and black people, you know what I mean? Because if you look, the wider culture is all about rap, all about sports, all about the fuckery, right? So long as there is a wider acceptance as that being black culture, then how do we have an effect on that, right? Unless there is a generational shift where a generation of kids are no longer indoctrinated with that nonsense, bro. That's the only way this shit can occur, if there is a generational shift, and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, I mean, set a positive standard. And see,
Or
I'm still on that. I'm still on that. He's not heavy thing, man. You know, I just don't. How you throw those? You can't throw those dudes away. You know. And I know a lot of guys
So
that.
what dudes
You know,
away?
welcome to
But
the underclass then.
that's what I'm
Guess
saying.
what? Blacks who are
I'm
better.
talking about. You know,
blacks who are
let's
better
put it
off
like
go
this.
below
And
the
I'm only speaking from a personal level, right? And it's not. And my personal. Like I have a brother that did 20 years, right? He got out 3 years ago. Now he's doing pilot driving. That's the people that go and we got him set up with a business and everything. Even doing that, he was a hustler, right? Just the old dumbass motherfucker. I was the other brother. I went to work at UPS. He just wanted to do the street shit. Didn't have to. That's his choice. But you know, he got his own business and starting up and right at the level of, you know, about $60,000-$70,000. But if we go have a cutoff, if y'all gonna have a cutoff, then make another entry level. I mean, yeah, just an idea. I'm just listening to what y'all are saying.
Well,
But I'm still on that. He's not heavy because I've seen a lot of. I'm in the South, so I see a lot of shit been nitpicking for a long time. But we do got to separate ourselves just from, you know, just for glamorizing a dude busting on the corner. I got that.
Kev, let me hit you. Listen, even in those places as to where, you know, the black man didn't get a fair shake. That does exist. Nobody's saying that doesn't exist. Is that the majority of people? Is that the majority?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, most black men don't even
a small percent.
A lot of times we don't even step up to the plate to even swing the bat. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm saying though. That's my biggest thing, Kev. So I know emotional attachment because it is those loved ones. It are people that are near and dear or people that have been a part of your life for the entirety. But
just people we see. You know, we see it defiled.
I understand it, but that's exactly what we're talking about. What Cliff is saying. It's gonna be a tough decision, man. But as a man, that's what we do, bro.
Yeah,
again,
I get you.
It's hard. It's gonna be hard. But again, until you meet the standard, man, you just it is what it is. I can love you from a distance. You know, people do it all the time, and you know that's really gonna have to be what if people that don't, and shout out to Big Truck, you can attest to this because you've been in China. One of the biggest things and one of the strongest cultures on the planet is Asian culture, right? And one of the big things that Asian culture does is Asian culture makes shaming or exclusion from the family. It's like the worst thing you can do. All right, when people take themselves up out of here, it's because they've been separated from the family. They've been disowned. You see what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
So what we need to do, and again, this goes to Xanatos' point again. What smart people do, man, or successful people do, is they watch other successful people and they adapt their successful traits. So if and when, and I know it's going to be extremely difficult and hard, but again, bro, we're on the clock. So
well, fantastic. Can I speak to that real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah, that's your wheelhouse, brother. Go ahead.
Well, and I'll be perfectly frank. It's like I have a successful family on both sides, but what I learned about success, I really didn't learn from watching them. I learned from because I grew up with Jews, I grew up with Asians, I grew up around white people, obviously, because I'm a New Yorker. So I grew up with a mixture of all these people, and then obviously I lived overseas a lot. And the thing about it is, when I see how these other cultures, just like you're pointing out, the paternalism and the control that they have in the Chinese culture, or if you look at even the Jews and how strict they are raising their kids to be lawyers and doctors specifically, or to be in positions in society where in order for you to get anywhere, you have to go through them. All of your kids teachers, Jewish, all your kids doctors, your pediatricians, your lawyers, your judges. So basically, they've got you cornered at every level of society. And even when you factor the Asians, Koreans, they got your dry cleaners. The Chinese, they're feeding you every day. They've got all of your clothes, all of your stuff. Every single direction you go in, they are there. And what I learned by watching them is I apply that to my life personally, but I see most Black people around me do not act anything like that. But what I do see is most African cultures do act like that. And that's the reason why they're able to get so far. So my point is, a lot of immigrants come here and they really don't have much, but they're able to build from that point. The thing about it is you're already here and you have something, you have some basis. So if they can get as far as they get, you should be able to get further because you're already here and you already have. But the problem is you don't have a plan. Not only don't you have a plan, you don't have a plan for your kids. You don't have a plan for your family members. So it's easy for you to say, oh yeah, well, we got to move away from these people. One of the biggest problems with black community is you live among the black poor. White people, when they get rich, they move far away from white poor people. When Jews get rich, they move far away from Jewish poor people. Chinese do it the same thing. If you're going to stay among your own, then yeah, you are running the risk of getting carjacked by one of your own. You are running the risk of getting drugs dealt to your kids by one of your own because they're right there with you.
Hey, Big Troy, I'm glad you said that. Bro, we got to stop calling this the black community. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
This ain't no community, you feel me? It's just where a bunch of niggas live around each other.
It's more like Animal Farm.
Well, we have no
100%.
We have no community, no friendship, no brotherhood.
Well, a lot of that was stripped throughout history. That was done by on purpose. We know this.
But see, and that's another thing too. I disagree, bro, because look, man, we can't just blame it on everything, bro. We can't just blame it on everybody else, bro. We gotta hold ourselves accountable, bro. We fucked it up.
Exactly. You gotta look at Africa, man. You got tribes that live right near each other, been warned for fucking generations, for years, dude. So to say that, it happened to us because white man did this, no, man. We gotta do our own shit.
Listen, man,
you're 100% right, bro.
You're taking it to the extreme. I'm just saying it's just a factor, dude. That's all. Just a factor.
Wait, hold on. Shout out to Indigenous TV for the 10 again. We're at the mercy of terror element in our community that is full-blown jihad. They'll soon nuke all of us before they allow any separation to take place. Again, man, I don't think they have enough. They don't have enough of anything to actually do it. Again, that's another big part. But let me say this part to Kev's point. Listen, Mr. Kev, listen. This is the thing, right? So the brothers make a great point here. All of those things happen, right? No one's denying that, and I'm going to be explicitly clear with that. Okay, no one's denying Jim Crow, no one's denying slavery, whatnot, what have you. But what new is being done that hadn't been done already, and what do we not know about? You see what I'm saying? So if for back in that time, I have an understanding. But so, Mr. Kev, my question to you is, what is the excuse for people in 2021? Still getting caught up, still doing all these things, and still falling victim to these quote unquote white supremacists or racists or whatever tactics if we know the whole playbook? What's the excuse for them?
And on top of that, there were people back then that was successful as hell.
Yeah.
The marital rate was way higher, over 60%. Families work together.
Well,
there's no excuse.
Go ahead, answer me. Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, the other guy, you got to go to the single parent woman, because half the dudes I know that y'all talking about, they mamas put them in a bad position. That's the guys that just keep recycling it. All my friends that, I'm listening to y'all, we got to separate from it, and I know this already. Their mama had them hustling and shit. And when I look on the news, it's still saying, I've just been around a lot of mamas who actually groom their kids to take care of the household on the street. And I think that's that small percent that we all get viewed as, man. But we just got to cut that off. I get what y'all saying with cutting it off. I'm preaching to the choir on this, but I get it.
But you're right. But look, man, Kerry, I understand exactly what you're saying, but we got to look at it like this too. Segregation was a government, it was a strong arm of the government that was, enforcing segregation. And now the government stopped it. So it's like the only way we can go back is if we have some type of oppressive government regime on black people to recreate the pre-civil rights black, experience.
Standard.
Exactly.
Like
the standard. Exactly. I don't think that's gonna happen, right? I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
That's a hard fucking road, man. Shit.
And right now, Black America is a fascist regime. You can't have any type of even if it was funny, even black people who vote the same way still oppress each other in another way, like calling them lame, calling them stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so fucked up, like how we can't have our own independent thought and vote differently without somebody trying to kill you or trying to get you fired. We already know how hard it is for black men to get something going, and you got other black people trying to destroy what you got. It ain't never white people.
It's like
It ain't never
Maxine
Mexicans. It
Waters,
ain't never
man.
Asians.
Yeah, it's like Maxine Waters. She's saying that if you vote this way, I have no respect for you. Like, would you really go say that?
Exactly. No
Yeah,
other race
really?
does that.
Yeah,
We the only ones who do that shit.
Yeah, it's like with Ice Cube playing for Black America. Queens of Soul and Vivica Fox and them shot him down. He's the man trying. So,
but thing is that exact structure, right? That exact idea is what keeps most niggas in line, especially a young impressionable black man that's growing up in a household full of females with no male influence, with no discipline in the household. You growing up in that type of environment where you're scolded for having independent thought, dude. How could you not become a cookie cutter Negro?
Right.
And you know what too? Here's one thing too. I'm not
have to have. I was just about to say, and when you say that, man, look, I was just having a conversation. A lot of dudes I know, man, old ladies got them killed, or they got killed trying to help a woman in the. I just seen a lot. Just being in New Orleans uptown, I didn't see too much. I seen a lot, man.
And how many niggas behind bars right now, man, behind a bitch?
Well,
how many niggas behind bars right now?
70%.
Behind a bitch that's sucking and fucking some other nigga 2 weeks after he got in.
Right. A lot of them, dude.
Xander Toes getting Xander Toes trying to say something. Go ahead, Xander Toes.
I'm just going with you guys. I mean, all that freaking swag, all that hood game, all that trying to prove that you're black. And how does it help? Exactly. We tried that crap. We tried it. We fall on our asses. So, I mean, and a lot of people say, I don't, it's like a lot of people are ho-humming over the fact that you got to drop the trash. Every other race has done it or is doing it, and they're showing success. The black race is the only race that will have literally a parliamentary debate over if we should drop Nook Nook in them, if we should drop a Bone Low Kisha in them.
Man,
Little Twin Baby's kids.
Right.
And the black people are the only one who have like a little.
Area. There's a Vietnamese area in New Orleans, and these people here, they have their own community, their own stores, speak their own language, and their own bank. And they go to the elders, just like someone was describing earlier. So they don't even think of the system. They don't go to bank or Chase Bank. They have their own system, and it works for them. And they come to
here in Atlanta, bro. I actually live in the Korean area in Atlanta, man. It's so Korean out this motherfucker. All of the signage is Korean, bro. You got signs that are in Korean. The whole fucking area is for Koreans, bro. Like straight up.
And then when black people get a bank, the CEO of the bank steal $20 million and buy strippers and go on yacht parties and shit. That bullshit bank Killer Mike was promoting. This is bullshit. And you know what? I'm gonna say this last thing, bro. I'm gonna say this last. Wait. Okay, I think you kind of lagging. Am I lagging?
No, it's him. Go ahead.
But real quick, I'm just gonna say this real quick. People get mad when I say this, but look, man, we have a drastic change has to happen. We're probably gonna have to create a new race.
Well, damn, nigga, that's gonna be hard.
But here's the problem: you already are the new. You're the new species already.
You know what I'm saying, bro. Like, y'all know what I'm saying, bro. Like, black men don't want to have this conversation. I don't know why, but it's real.
They don't want to have the conversation because they identify themselves with that hood swag culture. They know at one point or another they either were trying to fit in, like one of these go on to get along kind of Negroes, or they have someone who's dear to them who is a part of that, and they don't want to face the fact that either they have to drop a good amount of their identity or they have to drop a good amount of their friends, families, and associates. But the conversation needs to happen because guess what? If at the rate he's going at best, ADOS black culture will become like Native Americans, and at worst, ADOS black culture may play the knockout game one too many times, or do the R and kill non-black women one too many times, you're going to have this Richard Spencer kind of leader who's going to say, hey, look, I know Trump said it was the Mexicans and Muslims' fault, but guess what? They actually have jobs. They actually take care of their kids. But guess which race doesn't? And then you're going to have a bunch of people who are going to be like, oh, yeah, it's that race. And welcome to the Fourth Reich of the United States. Do you want that happening?
Damn. Well, and on that note, I think
that boy said the Fourth Reich.
The Fourth Reich of the United States.
No, it is true. No, that is true, bro.
Okay, if you look at what's being pushed right now, man, like white people are the number one enemy. If you look at everything in like corporate America, bro, dude, what Coca-Cola saying, be less white.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And dude, there's like every corporation that has like implicit bias training, bro. Like curb your unconscious bias.
But
like there is a lot of pressure on the quote unquote white culture right now from a corporate level saying, hey, cracker, stop being a cracker. You know what I mean? And
Karen,
you
is the new
might be
nigga for
on
white
something,
women.
man. It might be a snapping point where, you know,
it's bro, truth, and this is what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying, bro, truth. Eventually, bro, again, it's so much shit on white folks' plate right now, man. Again, if you don't think the president telling them that was not only for the black people and the people on that planet, and the same thing that people don't realize Donald Trump was doing. Donald Trump was coming back with this extremely patriarchal attitude and all this other shit to wake white folks up and be like, hey, man, y'all out here scared to be white and all this other shit when in 30 years, y'all not gonna run this shit no more. At least not by the numbers.
They know that. They know that.
They on the ropes. They on the ropes for sure.
So like you said, there is gonna come a time and a point of like same thing we were saying, like what Citizen Lou was saying at the last minute we're gonna do something. No, motherfucker, us ain't got shit to do. We ain't got shit to do with that last minute shit. Once white folks fucking see that, hey, they're gonna be surpassed, and you know, more likely than not, it's gonna be Hispanics or whatever the fuck it is, and they lose that majority fucking thing. If you don't think there's gonna be a fucking visceral fucking reaction to show,
they ain't gonna let it go. They ain't gonna let it go.
If you look though, testosterone levels have been falling drastically in America, bro. And on top of that, we've been indoctrinated. A lot of males today have been indoctrinated, have been pacified through porn and video games, bro. Dude, so I mean, you don't have the same men that we had, you know, 20 years back, 50 years back. That type of man no longer exists now, man. Like, it's a lot of fucking limp-wristed bitches being born today, man.
Look, fantastic. I remember growing up. I remember a white dude telling me this, man, back when I was a little kid. He said, in about 30 years, everybody's gonna be all brown and everything, right? And I used to hear about these militias and everything out there in the woods and all that. So I'm thinking all this militia stuff on. But if you look at it, man, a lot of white men have been dying. I think what it said was almost 19 or 16 states. More white people were like dying than actually being born. So I don't think those white men that you think that's out there, maybe some of them out there, but it's a lot of them dudes. I don't think the numbers ain't out there like that no more.
Well, let's not cry over spilled guineas, okay?
Hey, I ain't crying over shit.
What? This motherfucker, shut the hell up. But anyway, man. Hey, what's your final word, Clutch? I greatly appreciate you taking time out your day, man, and dropping a whole lot of knowledge tonight, man. It's on you, brother. Appreciate you.
Man, all I gotta say is this. The three fates of Black American. You know what? Let me go ahead and drop that in the description. But yeah, the three fates of Black America. As I said, it's my own little theory. And it's basically just going to be the response of a lot of people who haven't seen any improvement, particularly when it comes to, and I know people are laughing. I know it sounds silly. I know it's like, what are you talking about? But yeah, as far as that's concerned, come on, YouTube, bring the freaking link up. But yeah, immigrant Blacks are going to get tired of the BS and nonsense. If they aren't already, because a lot of them definitely have an attitude towards ADOS Blacks, whether outright or just passively. And the ones who don't usually fall into the ADOS trap, and they don't want to end up like their non-ADOS brothers who have fallen into the ADOS trap. I mean, a lot of black drama is, I hate to say it, it's self-inflicted because you're trying to keep up with a certain image. And a lot of them aren't going to like it, so they're going to take the easiest way out. Same thing as biracials, especially biracial men, because biracial men don't get any advantages of being part of the community. They just don't. And when biracial women don't get the advantages of having free drinks and free rent and all this other kind of stuff from thirsty ass Negroes, then yeah, they're going to be like, yeah, we're different. So, yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate you for coming, man. Make sure you guys go to Xantos's video and watch it, learn something good. And also, man, y'all pull up on Young Swift, bro. Make sure y'all hit I got 100 motherfuckers in here. So my man's thing should increase. I say at least all the way up to 100. He already got 21 subscribers. When I check this shit again, it better be at 100. I'll come pull up on y'all niggas. All right, I'll pull up. All right, but yeah, make sure y'all support Xanatos, man. Y'all support one of the up and coming young fellas in here, man. Really appreciate everybody for taking time out. We started late tonight because my man Clutch is on the West Coast, so that's why I was so late. But greatly appreciate you guys for losing a couple of little minutes of sleep for me. And as always, bro, that's that on that one. I shall catch you on the next one. Hollow.